A social media influencer was arrested for allegedly throwing a tampon at bouncers who were removing her from a club. Well, at least we know why she was acting that way. Should I just go home? I'm gonna go home.
Is there something wrong? I just can't.
Allison, I'm live now, and you haven't figured out your audio. Well, let me just greet everybody. Hello, everybody.
I can hear you now. I can hear you now. I think I figured out what it is.
All right, so it wasn't me then.
No.
Okay. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Allison, and this is Maintaining Frame number 115. I don't know. Maybe we should come up with a new, and I hate coming up with new things and changing shit, but maybe when we get requests from patrons, we can give that its own. Because I don't know you can't maintain a frame around something that is essentially a giant mutated sunflower that has become a weed and is reaching into every living thing and corrupting it at its core, and eating. I don't know. You can't put a frame. All you can do is put it down. All you can do is get some Roundup and end it. But anyway,
mental raid. That's what we do.
Yeah, I don't know. You just have to. Yeah, you just have to kill it. I mean, I don't in Minecraft, of course. But nonetheless,
exactly. Well, in the realm of the abstract, right?
Yeah. Speaking of Minecraft, can I start with something a little bit lighter before we get into the dark abyssal woods that is the mind of Manifestelle? Let me go back though. So yeah, maybe this should be a different series. Maybe this should be requests from the sadist. I don't know, because I don't know what else to call it, it's can you please respond to this? And it's just the crazy cat lady from The Simpsons. Yeah.
Except she's given a platform and tons of women listen.
Yeah, and she's just blah, 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 blah. And honestly, we're just I'm going to have to retort this somehow.
Okay, just a heads up. Now the thing isn't actually changing to me at all.
I don't know why. Oh, that's because these are turned off. Okay.
All right. Okay, but I just think we lost something when we stopped shaming women for being unable to maintain a relationship with a man as a marker of adulthood. You know what I mean? We do it for men, and to a certain degree, we've always done it for men, and we still do it for men. Now it just gets worse for men. So instead of just being a little bit, why don't you have a wife at the age of 30 kind of thing? And then there was also discrimination against bachelors in employment in the past. But we've kept that for men, and made it worse. So now men are not just weird, potentially gay, potentially subject to chemical castration. Now they are also considered to be terrorists, put on FBI watch lists if they can't maintain a relationship with women. But for women, we celebrate it. We celebrate this essential failure. It is a failure because we are a pair bonding species. And you look at any other pair bonding species, the win condition for a pair bonding species is, get this, pair bonding. Mind blown. And we don't do this. So we don't shame women at all. We never really shame women as much as we shame men for not having a wife. But we've completely removed it entirely. And instead we celebrate women for their singlehood, despite the fact that statistically this is the worst position for women to be in. But go Manifestelle.
Yep. We are essentially ensuring women's comfort to the destruction of our entire civilization, and we're still doing it
themselves.
Yeah, but that includes them. When I say civilization, I include women in that. I mean,
I guess you're right. Women are included in civilization.
Yeah, they're a part of it, and I mean that's where we are. I have a lot of pity because I think that these women, especially these young women, they are so separated from their own, from the consequences of their actions. Even now, they're shielded from all of their dumb decisions to the point where when they can no longer be shielded, it's like raising a child in a bubble. because you don't want them to catch any diseases. It's like Mr. Burns, like, where he's trapped in his home and he's like, there is still one more thing, Smithers, microscopic germs. And he's like, shielding himself from everything. When something gets through, they're not going to be able to deal with it. So, I do have a lot of pity for those women, even women like Manifestelle, because I know that everything that she claims to want, that claims to believe that women need, is only possible in the comfort that she currently lives in, where she's looking for. It's like the Princess and the Pea, and what will happen is if she loses that, like, I don't know what country she lives in. I'm going to guess Canada, honestly, but it could be the US. If things completely collapse to the point where she can no longer be shielded from it, because it's not just like shielded from the actual effects, but shielded from the knowledge that it's coming. There are, men talking about, like, in the space and a political space, whatever, and women as well. They're like, dude, if we don't change course, all these bad things are going to happen. And women like her they have no idea. They're just like, I got the new iPhone, like they're just carrying on with the everyday materialist concerns that are very short term, that don't involve families. And when the what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say giving I guess when the shit hits the fan. Yeah. I was going to say when it comes time to pay the piper. That's what I was going to get at. They're not going to be prepared. And it's kind of like the fault of the people around them for not preparing them. It's like, how do you get, horrible Olympic breakdancing? Well, you don't tell women the truth. That's how you get terrible ray gun breakdancing at the Olympics. That's because nobody was honest with her. And now she has to, like, cope her way into a new reality where this is okay because she at least got to make a statement. So, yeah, I mean, it's a shame because I think I'm trying to go deeper. I'm trying not to just respond to Manifestelle's claims because they're so divorced from reality. I wouldn't know where to start. So instead, I'm just like, I pity you because you are concerned about things that are so fragile. We're not going to have them at the rate that we're going, and you're still worried about those things. And it's like, you have no idea. Like, I'm sorry, I want to make this into a whole thing, but here's an example. Okay, I'll give you a biblical example, if that's okay. If you guys are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Allison? So,
yeah, I'm fine. Do it.
Okay, so we have so Christ had just done a thing, with a bunch of what they call in the Bible, they call them the multitudes, but like all of the people who are come to see the Messiah and they're healed and all this stuff, right? And he tells his apostles to get on a boat. I mean, the story. It's the story of him walking on water, but there's more to it than that. He tells them to go on a boat and that he will meet them later on, like in a few. At the end of the fourth, like it's basically the next morning. Okay, so I'll see you in the morning, and he goes to the mountain, and he's on a mountain by himself. Christ, that is Jesus. Okay, and the apostles are on the boat, and there's a storm, and they can't see. It's really windy. The waves are tossing the boat around. They're terrified that they're going to die because they're not. The boat is small and flimsy. And, it's not going to be able to, like, carry them across in their fear of that. Now, Jesus ends up showing up at the last minute, and he's, like, walking on water towards them. And they're, at this point, I think it's Peter. He gets out. But Christ says, come, they think it's a ghost. And then Jesus says, no, it's me. And Peter says, if it's you, I'm going to go to you. And he does. And he walks on water too until he gets close. And then he gets distracted by looking at all of this shit around him and he starts to sink. And then Christ, grabs his hand. And that's where the line, oh ye of little faith, comes from. But why I'm bringing this up is because it's not about the miracle of walking on water. It's about why. Okay, so Jesus Christ is the Son of God. So he knew. And this is important. He knew the apostles were in the boat. He knew there was a storm. He knew they were scared. He knew it was being tossed around, but he did not go and save them, even though it would have been no big deal to do that, right? If we take the tale as it is. So why did he let them, like sit there and experience that before he showed up? And I think the takeaway is that you have to know some kind of struggle before you can realize, like knowing that you're in this amount of danger it builds character. It's important for us to learn resilience, and it gives us wisdom, and it allows us to, essentially be able to carry ourselves in the world, because the world does not shield you from everything. That's the point. Okay. So that's just an example. And I think when I read that story, and I was told about it from this perspective, and I said, yeah, I mean, it's repeated in like all throughout, not just biblical stories, but all kinds of fairy tales and stuff. This idea that they have to experience like what the fact that the world is not a safe place, and that there are certain like things or virtues that you have to strive for, which are, things that involve you being proactive. But there are also things that you have to learn from, your ability to resist, right? You have to resist. You have to endure. You have to persevere. And that means struggling and hardship. And I think that too many people in general are divorced from that, but women in particular. And I think that it's a shame, because I think that it's kind of men's fault for shielding them to this degree. Because when shit hits the fan, they're going to have to learn how to pick berries,
The thing is that it's not just that it's just technological changes. The fact is that the work that women did throughout human history was essential to survival. So, I mean, like when I say that men do the work that's essential to survival, that's post-industrial. Like prior to that, women did a lot of the work that was essential for human survival. And in that situation, just the fact that their role is one of absolute necessity probably would have encouraged the development of this kind of understanding of self, and the necessity of getting up, doing the work, having those virtues, being industrious, and being forward thinking, and that kind of thing, and not just looking in your own little solipsistic bubble defined by your own kind of desires. This was not what women's role was in the past. This is very recent. Sorry, excuse me. I think that was a sneeze. I don't know. But yeah, this is I just grew my brushed out my dog today, so I'm a little bit sneezy and out.
Are you allergic to your dog?
A little puffy, Yeah, I might be slightly allergic to the dog, or just pet hair in general, or maybe I picked up some cat hair from the dog hair. I don't know. I am actually allergic to cats, even though I have 3. But anyway, so it's like that whole role that women had would have taught them the importance of virtues like hard work. And I really think like when in the Bible it says that, or it's a Christian saying somewhere, idle hands are the devil's work. I think that's what we're seeing with women.
The devil's playground, yeah.
Their job, and they have lost their mind as a result of it. Because it used to be a whole, the domestic sphere, the alleged domestic sphere was massive and absolutely essential. And then after the Industrial Revolution, it became tiny and inessential and not essential. And I think that, Betty Friedan said it's the problem with no name. And I think it's just boredom. What we're seeing is the effects of toxic boredom, the effects of an entire gender losing its utilitarian role, which is an interesting thought, because really what women are suffering from now is a complete lack of meaning in their lives. And they're trying to shove consumer goods into that hole of purposelessness and meaninglessness. And yeah, I mean, it's good for the GDP, so yay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, all that was a giant digression before we even started, but I guess we're going to be watching some Manifestelle. She has 2 videos. I don't know which one you want to do first, but one, I'll tell the audience what we got. One is called The Queen of Tradwives, From Ballerina Dreams to Ballerina Farm. This is about it's a woman who was a ballerina or was had aspirations to be a ballerina, and then she met a man, fell in love, and started having kids, and they're Mormons. And all of that is bad because women making decisions about their life that involve men and children, there's got to be something wrong with that. And then on the other side, we got rise of the princess treatment from TikTok trend to a woman's movement. Is this the princess era? Is that what I just realized that might be about that? I don't even know. When did this come out? 3 weeks ago, so kind of recent. I know it was like what's the sprinkle thing? Isn't that the princess era?
The princess era, or this is girly era, the era of not doing anything for yourself, I guess. Which is
era of being essentially a French aristocrat.
Yeah, not even like French aristocrat. Well, I guess French aristocrats like in the time of Louis XIV, where they're basically paid not to rebel against him.
Yeah. Well, isn't that kind of happening now? Aren't there women paid off by like Planned Parenthood to spread feminist propaganda? So they do that. They do. That's totally what happens. It's all astroturfed. Okay. It's all fake.
Well, yeah, I don't astroturfed, or just a symptom of like fundamental shifts in technology that we haven't dealt with psychologically yet. Like I can tell you that what Manifestelle and her clamoring audience of losers, that what they want is purpose and meaning, and they're probably desperately hoping that a man will give it to them, but I guess they're just doing what the television tells them to do, that they find purpose and meaning in purchase of pre-trash stuff that you own for like a year or so and then ends up in a landfill. I mean, why not just take your suitcase full of bullshit clothes and just throw it in the landfill? It's that meaningful. Your life is trash. Like, it's literal trash. It's all you're doing is buying trash. You're like that scene. Have you ever seen The Labyrinth? That scene with the female goblin and the gigantic mound of trash she's picked out of a landfill on her back. You remember that?
I do remember it. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I do have a Labyrinth poster on my wall though. So yeah, I do honor the Goblin King and Jennifer Connelly. But I haven't seen it in a while. But let me see if the Goblin chick is on there. I think she's actually on the poster. There's a bunch of Muppets on there, but anyway, go ahead.
The main character, Jennifer Connelly's character, ends up falling out of her tainted poison dream that the Goblin King has given her into this gigantic landfill full of trash. And this goblin lady comes up and she has a mound of it on her back. So she's been picking through the trash to find pieces to add to her collection. And then she finds Jennifer's, and she starts getting her to do it. Just pick up trash and put it into the hole in her heart where purpose should be. And and that's the moment where Jennifer loses her purpose, which is her need to find her brother, the babe to remind me of the Babe song. So that's the whole scene. And this Manifestelle, her audience, and everything that they're doing remind me of that. They are in a landfill, picking through garbage, trying to fill the hole that purposelessness left in their heart.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And it's unfortunate that these people vote. Okay, let's
it really is. Okay, let's get into the video. So I'm going to switch scenes here. Oh, actually, if I just start playing, it should switch automatically.
The Freebird theory is our theory that men like to cage free.
Hold on. Let me try this again. So we're going to do the Queen of the Tradwives, from Ballerina Dreams to Ballerina Farm. Okay. And let's get into this one. If I have to shut up and then I have to start playing and then it'll switch, I think. Hold on. Let's go.
The freebird theory is our theory that men like to cage free birds. They like pursuing women who have things going for themselves, are on the cusp of something great, are on the precipice of making a name for themselves, and these men trap these women, essentially caging the free bird. And the freer the bird, the higher the bird flies, the more satisfying the takedown. Whether you decide to be a career woman outside of the home or be a stay-at-home.
What a. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, so
go ahead.
she's making some kind of theory based on one anecdotal point, right? One anecdotal point. There are plenty of stories throughout history in which men actually facilitated the development of women in their career. But she's taking this and she's presuming that the woman has no say in all of it, that she didn't decide to do it, that a man just got in her brain and made the decision for her. And then she's saying that this is an impulse by all men. It's annoying when women like this talk and say that they speak for all women. It's downright flabbergasting when they say they speak for all men. And this is a common attitude that they have. Right there, this woman is saying she speaks for all men. This should be about as sane a statement as saying she speaks for all dragonflies or all subatomic atoms, or that she speaks the voice of the weak force. Like she speaks the voice of gravity. This is nonsense. And what really baffles me is that people don't recognize this as gibberish. This shouldn't be comprehensible as a concept in English. I speak for a group that I am not a part of, and there is no way I could understand the whole attitude of that group. Bullshit. Just right off the bat, she's just spewing bullshit. I see what you mean about how do you contain a mutated plant that's just got its roots in everything. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Let's do this again. Hold on a second. Switching to the source.
Hybrid or whatever combination of those things, no choice you make can undo a man who is hell-bent on caging you.
Wait, what are you talking about? You stupid bint? Just don't get in a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Is this your excuse not even to strive to do anything? Oh, good Lord.
I don't know if you know, but she seems to be one of the laziest people on earth. Like, so lazy that she won't even like vet a guy. I mean, she's probably got a boyfriend. Hell, she might even have a fiance. And I fear for him. Either it's going to be a terrifying situation or she is a giant hypocrite and she probably really submits to this man and does not live her values at all. But yeah, I mean, this is just intellectual, emotional, and physical laziness.
How about this for a free bird theory? The desire for feminists and other women to take away perception of women's agency over their own life, to chain them to an ideology that prefers to see them as a victim. Okay? How about that? Because I can feel coming out of Manifestelle's mouth the expectation of adopting an ideology in which I don't recognize myself as the final arbiter of my life, which means that I will never have actual control over said life. And I bet, you know what? I bet if there was a man out there who was doing all the housework and all the childcare and all the support work for a high-flying woman, she would say that he has exploited her. Right? She would say that he is using her to get money, that he's not providing her the princess lifestyle, that he's expecting her to go out and earn the bacon. I guarantee that that's how she'd look at it because it's always man bad. But what is the difference between this woman deciding to no longer pursue a ballerina career and being supported by a man, being supportive to a man, or supporting a family? It's not really supporting the man because the man is also doing the supports. I mean, if you have like something that's created, not like two sides of a frame resting against each other, both are supporting the other to create something, right? So the man and the women are supporting each other in this context, okay? Especially when we're looking at a homesteader, which I think we are. All right. So they're both supporting each other to create a family. That's what's happening. But she would say that a man should just support a woman in living a life of complete luxury. Well, you've just given up your own agency and your own potential personal achievement to be part of that. So
Yep.
what is the difference, Manifestelle, between princess treatment and being a trad wife? Or being a trad wife after being a ballerina? Like, what's the difference?
Well,
none.
I think the difference is princess treatment, you don't have to reciprocate.
Yeah, I guess
You're not
so.
a,
I
you,
guess
you,
you're right.
you're not a, if you do, he is lucky that you have doing him a favor. I'm guessing. I mean, well, that's what I believe. I think princess treatment is, you know the video where the man is on the street and he's like asking women how much they should spend on the first date, and the women are like, they're giving these crazy high numbers, and he's like, well, what are you providing, like, in terms of value to match like what he's spending? And the women are all like, they don't know how to answer except to be, well, like, I'm being
I am the
invited.
table.
I am the table. It's my presence. My presence. That was that one girl, my presence. And he was like, but why? What makes your presence worth $500? Or $1,200. I mean, and obviously when these women throw out these like massive numbers for how much money they want spent on them, it's like they don't know what money is. They just know that it should be high, so they just like highball it all the time. It's kind of like, the opposite of a guy trying to buy a car. He's trying to lowball the dealer, and he's like, well, I'll give you this much. They just like, yeah, $1,200. I want a hotel at the Ritz. I want to be in the penthouse. I want room service. All of it, right? Limousine rental, or better yet, if you own one. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just like, I think princess treatment is not the same, because a real marriage is both parties becoming one flesh and working together, like becoming a unit. Now, I'm not saying that's how it works out, because I think in the modern times, it probably doesn't, but I'm saying that is the goal when you're getting married, is that you become a partnership. And princess treatment does not sound like partnership. It sounds like servitude for men, benefit for women, and the men are supposed to feel like they're not slaves because they're so grateful that she allowed them the opportunity to serve her.
And yet the essential problem in all this, the underlying need that women have, is unmet, which is purpose. Like when two people come together and lean on each other in order to build a life, that's where most people get their purpose from. So you follow Manifestelle and you will always have that aching hole in your heart because you have no purpose. What's your purpose? To consume pre-trash, like the goblin in Labyrinth, just constantly going her lonely way through the landfill, picking out bits of things that attract her and just putting it on her back until the amount of trash she has in her life eclipses her. Like, is that what you want for, like, ladies, is that what you want for your life? It's just to be hoarding pre-trash until you die. Is that meaning? I'm guessing it isn't, because if you did have a sense of purpose and you did have a sense of meaning, you wouldn't spend your time listening to people like Manifestelle justifying your situation by sour grapes. Let's be honest. That's what she's doing. This woman probably has more purpose in her life than she ever has. And that's what she's saying. And honestly, that's the truth. It's the truth for men and women. Even men who are incredibly successful will often say that the most important part of their life is their children. In fact, there's incredibly wealthy, successful men who, I remember, this was really impactful. There was a man who started from, like, his father was an immigrant and he came over and he had like maybe a store, right? So he could keep his family fed and be able to educate them. And he had a son who ended up being a tycoon, like just hugely wealthy. And then he, the tycoon, had children. And despite the fact that he had attained so much in his life, he looked at his father, who was a grocer and raised a tycoon, and he looked at his own kids and he's like, I can never do that. I can never be as successful a father as my father, because, where do you go from where I am with your kids? Right? I mean, and he's not saying his kids are bad, but he's just saying that.
Allison, your sound cut out.
Really? Weird.
Oh no, you're back. You're back. Yeah, something happened.
I bumped it.
Oh, okay. Well, you're a little robotic now. Just a second ago, like right when I said it.
Okay, so I'm robotic now. Am I still robotic?
Yeah, you're a little robotic. I don't know if it's like a cord thing or your internet. It might be your internet.
Yeah, it might be my
I can't
internet.
see like how good your yeah, I mean, you sound okay. I did get a Super Chow in the meantime. Yeah, I did get a Super Chow in the meantime, though. Let me just read that. Richard Bier gave us $5. It says, Allison, are you feeling caged by responding to Manifestelle videos? If you're feeling exploited in any way, blink twice. All right.
Well, you're the one who recommended these two videos, my friend. So
I mean, I get it. Sometimes it can be fun to just listen to how batshit insane some of these people on the internet are.
I hope one day they end up in a circus.
I feel like it ages me. Like I'm going bald now because of all the Manifestelle video, and this is a luscious head of hair that I normally have, but I think it's falling out. It's like, yeah, I think it is. I think it is because of people like this. But anyway, oh, and by the way, somebody mentioned it was soft girl era. That was what I was trying to remember. So the princess treatment is probably just like the next stage of this. It's a rebranding of the soft girl era, because the soft girl era thing was kind of like slapped down pretty hard by the male version. What was the when the men started responding to it and they were like drizzle.
Soft boy era.
Was it soft boy era?
Yeah, it's the soft boy era.
And so they're kind of like, oh, we got to rebrand, because that's what these people always do. They go from DEI, or they go from ESG to DEI to Bridge to Jedi, and now they're doing something else. And it's all the same crap. They just rebrand it and then they put it back out there and hope nobody notices. But anyway, let's watch some more.
Wait, before you do.
Yeah. Oh, you want to finish your point? Yeah, it sounds all right.
Yeah, okay, that's good. All right. So my point was that even a guy who was immensely successful still judged himself in terms of the success of his or how well he did as a father. So it's like men and women, this is the thing. This is what it's about. It's about leaving a legacy. It's about having children. And some people, the legacy is going to be art. She decided to make her legacy her children. That was her decision. It wasn't him forcing her into it. I'm sure she could have walked away at any point. This wasn't a kidnapping, Manifestelle. This was her decision. It was her decision to find her purpose in her family. Bravo. I'm glad that this woman found a purpose, because obviously purposelessness is causing a lot of pain in women, right? And if she finds a purpose in something so attainable and simple as having a family, then that is basically a sign that any woman can find a purpose, a meaningful purpose in life, that it is accessible to women. They don't have to be a world-class ballerina. They can just be a wife and mother, just like men find a lot of their purpose in their family, in supporting a family. Do you think a truck driver is like, look at all the achievement I have in my life? Most men are not CEOs. They're not world-class athletes. They aren't like best-selling authors. Most men just do a job in order to be able to have a family and support a family, and that is where they find fulfillment. And the thing is that Manifestelle's bullshit essentially means that women can only find fulfillment and purpose in the most narrow of places, which will exclude most people, most women. Because let's face it, most women aren't attractive enough to attract a man who is going to essentially allow her to live her life on a cushion. And if that is where you find your purpose, well, first of all, he's going to replace you as soon as you get old. That's a guaranteed. And second of all, so what do you do then? What do you do then? Okay? And second of all, who wants to live their life sitting on a freaking silk cushion? I mean, this woman is out there making something for herself. It may be a family, it may be a home and a farm, but she's making something that she, at the end of the day, can say, call her own, and a relationship. What does the princess treatment make? Except an absolute obsession with your own self-indulgence, which will result in your own misery. Because if you're constantly thinking about how you are not served, thinking about how the pee under the mattress, you will never be happy. And one more thing, a princess in the past would have eaten Manifestelle alive. Manifestelle would be literally a chambermaid. She would be the kind of chambermaid who does not do her job. And any kind of princess in the past probably would kick the shit out of her, because they ran a tight household, let me tell you. And they did so because everybody needed to survive. So I can just imagine what Manifestelle would have been in the past. She wouldn't have been a princess, guaranteed. She would have been a maid, and she would have been the kind of maid who permanently had her employer's freaking hand slapping her. Just imagine that. Just like, you are the laziest, ugliest, stupidest creature I employ. I'm just going to put my boot up your ass until you get it together, Manifestelle. That would have been her life. But because we live in a post-industrial civilization with all of these incredible luxuries like electricity and plumbing and interior heating, Manifestelle can live in her little cubicle and think that she's a princess. None of us would have been princesses. Princesses wouldn't have been princesses the way you're imagining them. Like, princesses had their own issues to deal with, like getting kidnapped and being used for ransom or for political purposes, like having to deal with assassinations, attempts on the lives of their family members, and coups, and having to deal with making sure the populace didn't hate them. Like, there was a lot of stuff that princesses had to deal with in the past. They didn't live completely pampered lives. And their actions could result in a loss of fortune. And another thing is that they had to care about which men they allowed into their bower. And this is all the aristocratic women. If they chose wrong, their entire family could be screwed. That was what Pride and Prejudice was about. One of the sisters chose wrong, and the other sisters could have really been screwed out of any future because of it. But so it's like this, I don't know what the hell this woman is thinking. But at no time in history did women have this treatment. And in no time in history would have Manifestelle even have been a princess. She would have been a lazy chambermaid with her employer's boot firmly up her ass. Ugh.
Yep. All right, let's watch some more of the video. So we're getting now into the backstory of this ballerina that she's going to be talking about. So.
Cool. In the article, Agnew discusses how Hannah, 12 days after delivering a baby in her bathtub, competed in Mrs. World in 2024 after winning Mrs. American in 2023. And the writer dubs this whole thing of Hannah competing 12 days postpartum as pageant gate to illustrate how controversial it was competing in a pageant 12 days after a natural birth, or any manner of birth, or any manner of major health event. And as you can see here, she's nursing her days-old newborn backstage. And this extraordinary act propelled her into greater fame and crowned her the quote-unquote queen of the Tradwives. Agnew writes, Neilman, whether she liked
okay.
Just pausing for the banana. I mean, it just sounds like.
Is this more just jealousy masquerading as like some kind of...
there's a lot of hate because, well, I don't know. Let's look at it. It is definitely part that, but there is another thing too. I think that a woman who manages to win a beauty pageant, find a husband, get married, start a family, and then live humbly, I think because like she's on a farm or something. And I mean, she's famous. I don't want to presume that she's humble, but she doesn't seem to be putting like her whole self out there and like making everybody pay attention to her, like say, a lot of these like Hollywood celebrity women do. And I think that angers people like Manifestelle for a couple reasons. One, I think there's the jealousy, but the other thing is it's like a demonstration that this kind of thing is like within reach for women, not the beauty pageant part, but just like finding a man and living a simple life,
Yeah, look, that means
and
that happiness
that
and
breaks
fulfillment.
Yeah, that breaks her whole money stream will dry up if women realize that if they're just not cunts, they could find like a decent guy, work with him and build a decent life. And it doesn't have to be extravagant. It doesn't have to be materialistic, at least not to the extreme. It could just be. And that's a problem for people who make money off of women's misery. So I think that's what I think personally, that's Manifestelle's main issue.
Yeah, like, I mean, think about what this woman is counseling. Like this, you don't have to be a ballerina. You don't have to be a beauty queen. And you don't even have to be a trad wife. You can have a job. It's just build something, be with someone. That's where you find a purpose. Build a family, raise children, raise dogs, whatever you want to do, but don't sit there saying, well, consumption and being treated like a princess is where I'm going to find my purpose. 99% of Manifestelle's audience, well, probably 100%, let's be honest. Because if you're a woman who's capable of finding, I don't know, a Saudi prince, you're probably not in Manifestelle's audience. Okay, let's be frank. So 100% of Manifestelle's audience, you're never going to have the lifestyle that Manifestelle is telling you need in order to find a purpose, in order to be happy. She doesn't look particularly happy. She looks like she's full of sour grapes and jealousy. But again, she is counseling a lifestyle that is completely outside of your means to ever achieve. And this woman is saying, you don't need to do all of that. You can be happy with something simple and quiet and humble. Isn't that better? Like, why would you want to buy into this? And striving.
Yeah, but how can you make your girlfriends jealous if you're living a humble life?
Well, at this point, like, they'll be jealous because what do they get at the end of the day? I mean, if you think about it, for all of the women who've so-called settled for a man and have built a life with him, at the end, they have that life. They have had a lifetime with a man who's cared about them, presumably, hopefully. I mean, most likely. And what has Manifestelle had, presumably, or what has the people who buy into her rhetoric, what are they going to end up with? What, like a mountain of pre-trash? They're going to literally, their legacy in the world is going to be a vein of pre-trash or a vein of trash in a landfill. Think about it. That's their legacy. Congratulations.
Yep.
And a bunch of achievements that everyone will forget, because the most that most women get is middle management. Let's face it. Right? And they'll think that they were owed being a CEO, like Manifestelle says, but the honest to God truth is there are more women proportionately as CEOs than there are women as garbage collectors. So whatever pressure in society is disproportionately putting women into CEO positions. So you have a better shot at becoming a CEO than a man if you're a woman. You have a better shot. You're proportionately more likely to end up in a CEO position than the worst jobs. So but you still mostly end up in management, middle management. That's going to be your big thing that you have constructed in your life.
Yep.
Okay.
Hope you like human resources as a job. All right, let's watch some more. Here we go.
It or not, was declared leader of a new and controversial group of the internet, the Tradwives. And we have talked about Tradwives so much in the Spoiled Girly support group, but in today's class, we are adding on extra layers. So let's talk about the holy trinity of Mormonism, Tradwifery, and influencing. And I know it all.
I don't want to, like, she's going to get into, it's not,
You did time code this, right?
I
Because
did.
we're
I
only
just
4 minutes in. I don't want to do like. Can we move? Okay,
no.
Mormonism,
I'm
trad
jumping
wifery.
ahead. I'm jumping ahead. I mean,
Okay, let's just
want to
summarize
just do
this.
the bumps?
This is well, do
Hold
you
on a
have the
second. Let me
next
turn
time
on your
code? Or-
thing. I'm already there, but go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Let's summarize this. She doesn't like trad wifery honing in on her territory because essentially it's, be a decent person, build a family, you'll be happy. And what does she want? She wants miserable people to watch her sour grapes content. And it's like and trad wives, I don't think at this point what is trad wifery aside just getting married and having a relationship with a man, honestly.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, like, why are we giving like terms and names and to things that are just normal? Like, not like they're like seriously. Like, how long have human beings been on this earth? How long have we been getting married and having kids? All of it. For as long as there was marriage. I mean, I guess there was a period where we were just like, like before marriage, before language, we were just like fucking. But like once we had things like language and homes and agriculture and communities and villages, we had marriage. We had something like it at least. Some people will claim that marriage was created by religion. I don't know if that's true. I don't think it matters. I think that what I think is that there was pair bonding. We were like, oh, this seems to be a normal trend. Why don't we officiate it somehow and call it something so that other, so that people in this pair bonding, they stay loyal to each other and by extension their children. That's been like most of our history. That's been most of our life. So, like, why are we calling it something if it isn't for the explicit reason to kind of demonize it or stigmatize it in some way so that women don't want it? I mean, because that's what it's doing. I mean, men are checking out too, but they're not doing it for the same reasons. They're not doing it because somebody told them marriage is, it's going to destroy you. They're looking around them and they're seeing how women are acting towards men and they're seeing what's happening to their friends and they're basically making a rational decision. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, it seems to me that people who have their shit together are somehow doing it wrong.
Well, it's men are checking out probably because of family courts and stuff like that. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all of the
but
shit
other
that they have
men
to
that
do.
see that, other men that
Yeah,
see what's
yeah.
happening in family courts. Yeah.
And women seem to be checking out because somehow men aren't good enough. Like, period. Like, men aren't, or a relationship with a man is not. It's like they don't want the thing itself. But what's strange is again that is the situation where women are feel the most happy and fulfilled is in a relationship with a man, raising a family, or working on the relationship itself. That is where they are happiest and most fulfilled, and that's what they're rejecting. It's not the problems that come out of the family courts or the lack of any kind of protections if you're a victim of domestic violence, because men have no protections if they're a victim of rape or domestic violence in their relationships. And in fact, they can become a victim of the state because they are a victim of their wives. So, I mean, all of that is completely understandable. But women seem to be opting out for some reason because they think that the most happy situation that they could possibly attain is beneath them. And I think it's more like they're too afraid because committing something requires accepting your mortality. I think that's where it is. It's just they don't want to accept that, yeah, they're going to die. And this is the person that they're going to, this is going to be the last person that they have a relationship with. Eventually they're going to grow old with this person. And that's difficult to face for a lot of people, especially ones who've been so sheltered from mortality and commitment like women have been. They get to enjoy a lot of the benefits of society without even really acknowledging where it came from and the sacrifices it takes to create it. So It sort of created a generation upon generation of extremely cowardly women who just don't have the balls to get in a relationship with men. Which is why men are going for femboys. No, I'm just kidding. That's just a joke. Because they do.
They do?
Well,
I don't
power
know.
and balls
Oh, I see.
to be a trad wife.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm just being silly.
No, it's
Okay,
fine. All right, let's jump ahead to the next clip. So she's talking about the what is this? Prosperity gospel. Now she uses like religious language, but it's not really about that, obviously. But okay, here we go.
Gospel vibe of seeing success as a sign of God's favor may also explain why Mormons in Utah are largely entrepreneurial, as Gregory observes in their article. Basically, the richer you are, the better person you are, the closer you're to God. It's not cleanliness is next to godliness, it's wealthiness is next to godliness. Gregory writes, don't let the Zumba classes and work at home statuses mislead you, though. These women are ambitious. These multi-level marketing businesses allow Mormon women to make money and be ambitious, all while not working outside of the home, which in a lot of ways is still frowned upon, says Jones.
All right, I'm just pausing it there. The only thing I wanted to say about that was on the one hand, let me turn this back on here. Sorry. On the one hand, she takes issue with Tradwives because they aren't getting that bag and they're not working. But on the other hand, she's also telling us that there's this supposedly, I don't know if it's true because I'm not a Mormon, but amongst Mormons, there's this entrepreneurial spirit. It's probably an extension of Protestantism in general, I would guess. And that somehow is also bad. So woman, because like obviously this woman makes money, and I think what she's with her Trinity, she's saying that like she makes money as an influencer using the Tradwife thing as her product. I don't know if that's true. I think it might have to do with her being a former professional ballerina. But anyway, I wanted to jump to the next bit though. But what I'm saying is there's resentment either way it goes. You can't win. But I wanted to get to the reactions to the Ballerina Farm article. I don't know if you want to look at the Ballerina Farm article. I have to dig it up. But I'm going to get to this point where she starts talking about the reactions. So, and Allison, I don't know if you're trying to talk, but.
No, I'm not trying to talk.
All right, cool. Well, I'm just going to play it then. Here we go.
Let's watch it together.
Okay, it was my birthday present from Daniel. Hoping their tickets to Greece.
Where's it from?
I don't know, the boys took it off.
I took it off.
It's from Ukraine.
So, plane tickets?
I think it's on me.
Oh.
A hat I can wear.
Why is that? Hold on. There it goes.
It's not a hat.
It's not.
You're not missing anything anyway.
Oh, my egg apron!
Eggs in it.
It's great. They can gather eggs.
So
Yeah,
cute. It's really cute. It's a cute one.
That's the best. You're welcome.
Thanks, honey.
Not for a long time.
Look at her contempt.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, so the wife gets an egg apron, and this is like a big problem, I guess. Yeah.
Like has anybody noticed that this is all about competition between women? Like Manifestelle just doesn't want a woman to be happy based on a philosophy that is accessible to all women. She has to and all.
But Allison, competition only happens between men. That's toxic masculinity.
I swear to God, a lot of this, what we're dealing with right now, is toxic competition between women. They just she just can't just be like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm pointing out that the spoiled girly philosophy is inaccessible to the vast majority of women, right? It's completely inaccessible, and it's a lifestyle that cannot exist outside of modern conveniences and modern utilities, completely. And for the most part, 99.9% of women are not going to be attractive enough to attract a Saudi prince who allow them to live in a harem, because that's what spoiled girly treatment is. So she's preaching something that is inaccessible to the majority of women. Whereas what this ballerina is showing is that you can gain happiness with a simple life, which is completely accessible to all women. And you don't have to have the trad life thing. You don't have to do that. You can have a job. Basically, just trad life means building a life with a man at this point. And
Yeah.
And you don't need as much garbage. Like, essentially, that's what the final sort of like lesson of Labyrinth was. Jennifer let go of all of her, the character played by Jennifer Connelly let go of all of the pre-trash and realized that her relationships were the most important thing. Like the love that she gave and received from her friends and her family, that was what was important. Not the shit that she carried around with her, not the vein of trash you're leaving in a landfill somewhere. That's your legacy. No, your legacy is the people that you've touched. That includes your children, that includes your partner, that includes your friend, that includes the people you've helped. Like, this is what matters. And she's showing what matters, and Manifestelle has this sour look on her face. Like, I don't know, a vampire facing garlic.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think you're right. I think ultimately this is female competition expressing itself. I think that she feels like she's trying to make this. It's all about framing with these people, okay? So what I think she's doing is this woman's husband got her a gift, and it's an egg apron. So that when she goes and gets the eggs from the chicken coop, she can put them in the egg apron. And then I guess that's the purpose. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's an apron for holding eggs, okay? Ironically, something that Manifestelle is probably running out of. But anyway, sorry, I'm being mean, but there is something interesting about this. But what Manifestelle is doing is that she's framing this gift as something that
oppressive.
Suggests that, yeah, like it's oppressive, like this man is exerting control by giving her this gift. It's kind of like, you know, the joke of where a man gets his wife like a broom or a vacuum cleaner for her birthday or for Christmas. He's like, now you can like keep the house extra clean. And that we're supposed to be like, you know, really like, oh my God, like offended by that. But the truth is, like, these were considered valuable because it did in fact make your life easier.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you have to clean things, right? So I mean, yeah, I mean, like, but some would say, well, you should just get that, like, not for a holiday gift. But I think that the way that, like, I don't know their relationship. And I think that she was obviously really glad. She thought it was really cute. She liked it. She even tried it on. I don't see a problem. But of course, Manifestelle, again, this is all about framing. This has to be framed as oppressive because, like, what? Okay, why is it that, and I think this is true, Big Pharma and the medical industry are interested in maintenance of people or treatments, but not cures, you know, because they want to keep making money. So like, they're not interested in preventative care. They're not interested in telling you how you should live your life, what you should eat, what you should avoid, that we should do something about processed foods, that we should, you know, whatever, address these issues, because sick people with diabetes, people with heart disease, people with all kinds of, you know, problems that are the product of their lifestyle, they continue to feed into the system that keeps it running. And Big Pharma has an interest in keeping you medicated. This was a problem with the psychological industry as well. Base Camp, they did a thing on it where they basically said, you know, mental health care is all paused. It doesn't want to help you. It just wants to keep you medicated. Women are on more SSRIs than ever. Men don't get, you know, they don't even approach getting treatment because of the entire framework is against them. So you have like suicide through the roof and all this. Well, ultimately, these institutions don't care about fixing these problems. They just want you to keep giving them money while they tell you they're working on it. And that's what feminism does for women. It doesn't want to help them at all. And Manifestelle is proof of that. She doesn't want women to be happy. She wants women to constantly need her. And so she will create content that creates that loop. so that she stays well fed, well paid, etc. And yeah, there's a pretty good chance she probably isn't living up to her standards. Look at a lot of these feminists that like the hardcore ones from the 60s. They're like, a lot of them are married. I mean, maybe their marriages of convenience, maybe their marriages of maybe some, political gain, and they're not actually like marriages of love, but they don't actually live by the things that they're telling other women to live by. And I think that's what this is. But anyway, I'm sorry for the rant. Go ahead.
There is princess treatment. All of her supporters, all of Manifestelle's supporters are enabling her to live out the life of a princess.
Yeah, they're like her ladies in waiting.
Yeah, you're all ladies in waiting for Manifestelle. It's
yeah.
I wouldn't do it, but I guess you do you. Especially not Manifestelle. She just doesn't have the the style, the presence of a true lady, a true aristocratic lady. You're basically ladies in waiting to a scullery maid who probably in the past would have had her employers boot up her ass constantly. So I mean, you are the scullery maids of a scullery maid. Congratulations. This is the heights to which you aspire. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's. I got a super chat I should read. So Jay Stewart, thank you, Jay Stewart. I think he's newer. Welcome to the show.
Right.
Gave us $5 in a super chat and said the LDS teaches that each individual has a responsibility to better themselves and those around them. Emphasis on family, duty, and self-sufficiency. Yeah, that sounds a lot like Protestantism, honestly. So, and it makes sense. It makes sense. Think about this, okay? Just to like, because I have to look at these things in historical terms. You're a bunch of essentially colonizers, or you're colonists. You come to a country you don't know anything about from your homeland, and you're moving west and across the country to settle. I mean, you would like your self-sufficiency and family and community are going to become paramount to just like survival. So then it's going to become a part of the ideology. So it's no wonder that the Mormons are all like based out of Utah, because that's probably about as far west as it gets. I wouldn't be surprised if it's historically going like a natural consequence of the actions taken by the people who would later become Mormons or Protestants in general. Like I said, the Protestant work ethic is born out of, I think, like, sort of American, rugged individualism. So I know that individualism is a bad word now because of Handmaid's Tale and Project 2025, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is what America is, good, bad, or whatever. But anyway, all right. So let's get to the next clip. Manifestelle is going to be talking about... she goes into like, I'm going to skip this part, but there was like this thing about the holographic mother, which is this idea that the mother is not around because she's like working so hard at home that she can't be a... Oh yeah. Go ahead. Hold on.
What's
Let me turn your thing on.
Apron and the egg apron being a gift? Like, he's just recognizing the role that he's seeing her in terms, like, literally, he's seeing her in terms of benefit to the family, right? In terms of the actions she takes to benefit the family, right? So is that the real problem here? Is that he's recognizing her as an agent, and he's recognizing her value in terms of the benefit to the whole family? Like, and the alternate is that she has no benefit to anyone, which is the spoiled girly philosophy. I will benefit no one but myself. I mean, I wonder if that's really the issue here. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
the egg apron is just recognizing that there's a chore. And in fact, it looks like it's really useful for that particular kind of a chore, right? And if you have to do that every day, it's actually pretty thoughtful to get something that really helps you out with a chore that you have most likely chosen to do, right? And the fact that she is thrilled to get that means that she sees herself more in terms of service to her family than self-interest. Okay? And I think that's what's really upsetting Manifestelle. That as a woman, everything should revolve around your benefit, not how you serve others, not your own actions and their benefit to others. And that mindset, I think, is what she's rejecting. Okay, but let's continue. So I just want to get that out.
No, it's all right. I'm going to play more of the video. So, okay, like I said, she was talking about this concept. And again, these people are always making up things, but she calls it the holographic mother. And it's basically a woman who is not really there for her kids because she's too busy serving a man, her husband. And this is obviously not true because a mother is also a wife, and like hopefully, and she's like doing those duties. But then, like, everybody's got a job to do. The kids are probably going to be working as they're going to be part of the crew when they're old enough. They're probably going to be doing stuff as soon as they're able. So they're going to be involved as well.
Really get away from this. And trad wives do not serve their husbands. They may put the aspects of the job that they do and allow their husbands to benefit from them, but they're not serving their damn husbands. They're serving the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. But then they have to frame it that way, because if you say, "Oh, I'm just serving the husband," then it's I don't know. It's easier for people to like take issue with it. But anyway, let me play this clip. So we're jumping ahead to this other bit where this is like the last part, essentially, that I thought was worth mentioning. It's called "Financial Independence and the Labor of the Man." I think that's where we're. Oh no, I got to jump ahead to 2841. I'm sorry, 2841. So like right here.
Be a Tradwife mom, a Pilates mom, any kind of mom who loses their financial independence from their husband. Reading the article today about the mom who has 8 children and isn't able to make a decision within her family about whether they hire a nanny or any kind of childcare. Her husband is the one who has all the income.
Just so you know, that when the shorts come on the vertical, they're just they don't show up.
Just the video?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's just Manifestelle looking sour. So it's not the actual video.
I'd have to, well, I'd have to, because it's
I got you. I'm giving you a heads up.
Some videos, I mean, this is the problem with this format, is that it gets cut off on the side. So you're going to hear it, but you're not going to see that because of the way Manifestelle formatted her screen. Because when she talks, she's in the middle, so you'll see it. But when she's like reacting to something, she puts it off to the side. But
could it be that they don't have the money for a nanny?
Yeah, why do you feel entitled? Like, why should anyone feel entitled to a nanny? And what about the woman who is the nanny? Is that not also, like, is she not also oppressed somehow? Like, I mean, how does this work exactly?
No idea. But apparently this woman, also secondhand. So basically at this point it's hearsay. So this woman is saying
she's
this
assuming stuff. She's assuming stuff. Like, the thing is, I think they're talking about the ballerina mom. Okay, they're talking about that, but that these people live on a farm, and it's like 8. She's got like 8 kids and a husband, and they all probably work on the farm together. They may have hired hands that do stuff, but we don't know. But like, yeah, there's a lot of us. Like, essentially, though, the main issue is this. It seems the main issue is that there is, for whatever reason, a presumption that the wife is the one who is suffering the most in this whole arrangement. Like, her kids aren't, because even though we don't know what their situation is, the father is not, because he's a man. And that's kind of like Manifestelle's ultimate thesis. This is what I think is important. It's also a theme in all of her videos. She always says this, okay? This is important because this is like going to be the primary driver of every single video she makes forever, until something changes with her that is like drastic. Men are risk and men are labor. That's her. That's it. Men are risk, which means they're always dangerous to women. And at any point, who knows, they could annihilate the family. So men are always risk to women, and men are always labor. So no matter how much the man gives, no matter how much he provides, no matter how much he builds, the woman is still doing labor, emotional labor, actual labor. It's always labor. And so when you have a woman saying, why don't they have a nanny? That's just a woman operating within that frame saying, why is this wife doing any labor? Why'd you get her an egg apron? Why are you even though she might have asked for one? Oh, you know what I'd like, honey? I'd like an egg apron because I like to work in the fields and I like to get the eggs from the chickens. I want to make that job a little bit easier. Could you get me an egg apron? Right? And he's like, sure, honey, I'll get you one. And he ordered it from Greece. So it was like it had some special significance to her. Might have been, I don't know, like, you know, maybe she's got Greek heritage. Maybe it was custom made. We don't know, you know?
Usually what happens is statistically that if the man makes money, they share the decision making. If the woman makes money, she's the one who decides where it's spent. If the man and the woman, if the man makes money, even if he's the sole supporter, statistically she also has a say in how the money is spent. So where they're getting this from, it's not even supported statistically. I don't think it's supported in this particular anecdote, and I don't think it's supported statistically. So basically they're talking out of their ass. They're a bunch of incredibly jealous women talking down another woman. And the way that the sisterhood does this is they take away a woman's right to say that they had sovereignty over their own choices. Like if a sisterhood does not like you doing something, it essentially says, a man made you do that and you're just being exploited. You know, you're being exploited by a man. And this is how they control women. They take away that aspect of being human, which is the sovereignty over your own mind and your own choices. They strip it away because women tend to be a little bit more concerned about the opinions of other women. I don't give a flying fuck, which is why I'm out here doing this. But yeah, they will strip away a woman's sovereignty if they fail to do what they're told, essentially. And that's what we're seeing right here. We're seeing incredibly sour women strip away another woman's sovereignty, recognition of her right to be seen as the primary actor in her own life. And again, it's not statistically supported. So where it's coming from is a place of jealousy. It's a place of sour grapes. This woman is living her life. She likes her life the way it is. She likes her husband, and they can't stand that. And the fact is, they are not happy people. If they were, they'd be just like, yeah, just enjoy your life as it is. Ladies, just,
Yep.
Yeah, she looks like she's happy. She's probably not going to show, like, she looks like she's enjoying herself. Statistically, her scenario is the one in which women are most happy. So let her show that. Let her show their happiness to the world. If you're happy in your own life, you're not going to be like, oh my.
Yeah, but again, a happy woman is not good for sales.
No, it isn't, because a happy woman
not good for business. Yep.
A happy woman doesn't want to shove a bunch of pre-trash into the hole in her heart.
Other women might see that and get ideas they shouldn't have about their own life decisions.
Yeah, did these women ever question the strings that are on them? Like the things that are making choices for them? Like, I mean, and often when you project this idea, when you strip other women of the sovereignty over their own actions, you are saying something about what you fear about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So the more these women strip her of sovereignty over her actions, the more they are illustrating something like the lady doth protest too much. How helpless they feel in the face of their own compulsions, I would guess. And the fact that how controlled they are by media, by other women, by the necessity of performance, by the jobs that they have, and the expectations that they place on themselves and other women place on them, and how much they feel like they're controlled in the recognition of their sovereignty by the sisterhood. Like when a person is forced to give something up in order to remain in a group, that person will not just justify what they have to give up, but will delight in taking it away from others.
Indeed you do. All right.
Okay.
I got a super chow from Great Indoors. And he gives us $10. Thank you, Great Indoors. And says, today I learned about the existence of a mystery manga called The Apothecary Diaries, which takes place in a very exclusive brothel that houses high-ranking concubines for the emperor and other very rich customers. This is what women like Manifestelle want to be, although the majority probably end up in a position similar to the main character of the series, namely a poison taste tester for one of the emperor's concubines.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, that's if you think about it, the vast majority, like Manifestelle, is probably not attractive enough to end up as a concubine as an emperor. So yeah, she probably is going to be the chief poison taste tester for the concubine of the emperor. Like, concubine number 752. Manifestelle is going to be powdering her feet and tasting her food. Like, yay. Like, is that the life you want? But she's managed through modern media to leverage her sourness into a position of making a whole bunch of other women her ladies in waiting. It's an interesting world that we live in, that we reward sourness to that degree. But okay,
In fact,
let's
we
keep
do.
going.
Well, I got two more. I got another two super chats. Okay, so Gary Thomas, thank you, Gary Thomas, sends a $5 super chat and says the husband and wife are both one of 9 siblings. So he's talking about the husband and wife in this scenario, I guess. A little bit more about this ballerina thing. And have modeled their lives after their parents, like most people, and not hire a nanny that they could afford. Yeah, it's like they made a personal choice about how to live their life. And I think it's actually better, probably, and I'm sure there's data that shows this, that a father and mother raise the children themselves and not through some third party like a nanny, or more importantly, and I think this can be more easily to prove, than daycare. Like there's this push from like feminists for, government subsidized daycare for children. And I don't think it's good for children, not in the long run. Sometimes it's you got to do what you got to do. But I think that if people are able to, they're probably giving their kids the best chance by raising them themselves. And that could mean a father stays home. Maybe he works from home, whatever. But if it happens to be a mom that stays at home, there shouldn't be any stigma around that. But again, this is one of these things that we're not even allowed to talk about because it's so oppressive to women. This whole, there's just so much shit that we can't even table as a discussion because it upsets people.
It's amazing how anything that challenges the power of government and corporation is oppressive to women. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it does. And another thing too, and I talked about this just as an aside. I talked about this years ago on my Facebook page because I was banned from Twitter and I couldn't have conversations anywhere else. And I said, because I have a cousin and my cousin was having trouble breastfeeding, so she was looking into formula. And there were people like proposing it, but I offered instead. I said, well, wait a minute. I don't think formula is really good for babies. I'm just going to put it out there. I know as a man, I'm not allowed to have an opinion on this, but I was learning things about what goes into formula where they convince you, oh, this is totally good for babies. Got everything they need. It's better than breast milk, actually. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. I have my questions. And so I put it to people that were friends of mine on Facebook, that were women, obviously, that breastfeed, that could answer that. And there was a lot of support from women coming forward and saying, oh, well, if you're having trouble breastfeeding, here are some things you can do. Here are some changes you can make to your diet. Here are some things you can take that will actually improve it. And one of those people, by the way, was Prim Reaper, because she had a child and she was breastfeeding at the time. I don't know if you noticed. And, but I'm kidding about that. But anyway, and it worked. My cousin was able to breastfeed her children herself. And she didn't go to, again, the giant FDA approved, formula for babies. And I think that her children are going to be better off. I think that go ahead.
At the end of the day, was she happier with that?
She is. Yeah. Very happy with that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying because she didn't really want to do formula, but there was a lot of pressure to do it from people who, didn't really look into it or didn't really question it. And I was like, well, I don't know if that's the best way. And sure enough, Prim and a couple of other ladies were like, no, I wouldn't use formula if I can help it. Here's what you can do instead. And basically, it's all about making things convenient for women, ultimately to the detriment of everybody. It's like, oh, we're going to make this thing and we're just going to put, vegetable oil and corn syrup and sugar in this and maybe some vitamins, and we're going to call it formula. We're going to make it look like milk and we're going to offer it to your baby. And women who don't want to, and a lot of times women don't not breastfeed because they can't, I think the majority of times they do it because it's convenient. They're like, oh, this is convenient. I'll just buy this stuff. And I don't think it's good for babies. I mean, like there are babies who become pre-diabetic on formula. So I'm just saying it's a reality. And I think that it comes out of this desire, or at least this front of saying, oh, we're just doing what's in the best interest of women, because you see in a typical household, you know, you can't afford to stay home and be a mom. So we're going to give you, you know, welfare, daycare, formula, like whatever for your baby. And you're just like raising a sick baby because you don't want to live within your means and make do. And a lot of it is because you're not informed, but some of it is that you're lazy. You don't want to do it. You're just like, well, this is easy. I'll just do this.
Well, it's a rejection. It's a rejection. Like what I see is a rejection of this role of agent. Like literally the woman has an egg apron, which is a recognition of the chore that she does, the act that she does to help support her family in this context. Because that is supporting, that is acquiring material goods. That egg apron and that former ballerina probably produces more materially than Manifestelle. I'm gonna put it out there.
Oh, at the end of the day, yeah. What's Manifestelle doing? She's putting like shitty opinions online. This woman's like raising 9 kids.
And,
you know,
and making and acquiring eggs. She's
apparently acquiring eggs. They probably do other stuff as well. But anyway, I'll read one more super chat and then we'll finish off this video. Gary Thomas gives us $5 again and says, also, I like how feminists like Manifestelle ignore that if Hannah had become a professional ballerina, by now she would be getting ready to retire. Yeah, it's not like you can do that your whole life. So what do you really like, you know? And in the meantime, this is another thing that she doesn't like, is that this woman made a rational decision, and nobody made her do this, to be like, you know what? I had fun doing the ballerina thing, but what do I really want? And then she just determined it. I want babies. I want a family. So that's what she pursued. I don't think anyone forced her into it. I don't think anyone coerced her into it. But of course, Manifestelle would say that, oh yeah, the man did that. He put on his cowboy hat and radio waves came out of it. And he was like, come on, little missy, you're going to make babies. And she couldn't help herself and just like fell, you know.
Which probably if you picked up a book from Manifestelle's bedside table,
yeah, right.
That would be that would some kind of that would actually be the romantasy fantasy that she puts herself to bed with, cries into her pillow. Why
you guys remember that? There
cowboy with the transmitter and his cowboy hat to tell me what to do.
Exactly, or like the Tom and Jerry has this really hilarious clip of it's like a Western thing, and Tom puts on like, you know, like the what do you call them? The chaps and the cowboy hat and a vest, and he approaches this female cat, and he like puts his shoe on the, you know, on the porch of the building she's at, and takes out a cigarette and rolls it, and uses the mouse to like close the cigarette, and like takes a pull and blows smoke that says howdy, just like that's what he did. And then she was like, okay, you can have all my babies now. So if you guys look that up, if you didn't watch Tom and Jerry as a kid, first of all, you've been deprived, but look it up on YouTube. It's really funny.
He hypnotized her with his masculine Mormon aura.
The thrall.
Thrall.
I'm
just saying, if we looked at her bedside table, we probably might find a little bit of thrall-based naughty books there. Shall we say?
All right. Let's get into the last bit here. Okay.
He gets to make the decisions about how they spend money. And to me, this has been a long-standing concern of mine. And this whole idea about women...
You don't have a concern, you have a jealousy.
I always wonder, what do you think about not having financial freedom? You have no income.
And the caption reads, Ballerina Farm, I'm thinking of you and sending love. Now, this won't be a Spoiled Girly support group if we don't bring this up.
This is why I say I'm not opposed to being a stay-at-home wife, but only if I have investments on my own that I can manage from home.
As we talked about over and over and over again.
You know what that investment is? If you leave, you'll get alimony and the house. Like, honestly, like there's no state in the union in which if you are a stay-at-home, they're just going to just dump you on the street. Even though if you had been simply a hired nanny, he could dump you on the street. And I mean, and I'm the other thing that's amazing to me, and this never brought up, is that I know personally young men who are taking care of invalid relatives, and in one case that I've heard about, I think the daughter of the father who he was taking care of, the week that the father died, she demanded that he leave the house. So this guy had been taking care of one of his invalid relatives, and the daughter of that relative, to the man who had been taking care of her father, told him to be out within a week, as soon when the guy died. So what about the rights of relatives who take care, like engage in palliative care of relatives? What about their rights? I mean, we constantly talk about stay-at-home's rights, but how about the rights of relatives like that? They take it upon themselves to go live with somebody who needs round-the-clock care and provide it because their family can't really afford that. And when they're done, their reward is, well, their aunt or the daughter of the person they take just kicks them out on their ear. Like, and that's happened. Where's their protection? Why is it always focused on stay-at-home moms? Right? They already have protections in law. Why don't we look at other relatives who give up a career in order to pursue palliative care in their family? Why don't they have protections? Because they have none. And yet these women constantly bring up stay-at-home wives as if they don't have protections already. They do. Let's move on.
All right.
If you are a stay-at-home wife, a mother, room and board in exchange for unpaid labor is indentured servitude. Okay.
And what? Room and
Yeah,
what
like
the
if
fuck
you
are you even talking about?
if you're in a marriage and the man provides you with a home, and you're expected to, I guess, help maintain the home, that is indentured servitude.
What? And what is a spoiled? I guess the spoiled princess isn't because she doesn't do anything. She's just maintained.
Yeah, that's right. You're getting it, Allison. Yeah. It's like, in fact, you know what the most princess treatment scenario, like the thing that's most in line with that would be a man who buys a woman a home, but does not himself live there and just pays for it. And she can just do whatever she wants. And he's not even around. He doesn't even ask for anything. He doesn't ask to go on a date. He doesn't ask for sex because that's labor, you see. That's labor. So we can't have that. And if he expects anything from her, that's indentured servitude. So yeah, really realistic and normal behavior from this woman. And yet, let's just take a look. 212,000 subscribers. No negative comments. All the women are like, yes, queen, slay.
What is the use of all that money if you can't enjoy it? She can't buy clothes she really wants. She can't go on trips she wants. She can't go on Target Run and grab Starbucks. Like literally, she can't create a mountain of pre-tash like I can. She just raising kids and running a farm.
Yeah.
Dumbass. Okay, let's keep going.
All right, let's keep going.
Everything that you do is not enough. The absolute bare minimum that you should get as a stay-at-home wife is a monthly recurring deposit into your investment accounts, because only then are you truly fairly compensated for your opportunity cost and your risk and your labor. If that's even at all possible, that you could be fairly compensated for all of that. Okay? It is the only way that you can be financially secured as the non-working spouse. Okay? And before you complain that,
Well, not all men can afford that.
okay, not all men can afford that. Not all men can afford a stay-at-home wife. Not all men can afford a wife, period. Okay? Women are not candy to be handed out to crying man children who feel entitled to a wife.
Wait, what? Okay, so God, you're a wretched human being. Like, you basically are treating women like candy. Instead of being an architect with another human being of a life, you are treating women as a reward for men being like 100%, like they are the breadwinner and the tradwife. You're basically saying that men are rewarded too easily that women are given out too easily. But the essence of that is that women are a reward, Manifestelle. The essence of your entire thesis is that women are a reward. Your only problem is that you think women give themselves out as a reward too easily. This woman doesn't conceive of herself as a reward, Manifestelle. She conceives of herself as a partner constructing a life, as a person who has a purpose, not as candy. That's the funny thing. She's like, oh, don't treat women as candy. By the way, you shouldn't give men candy that easily. You're the one who's treating women like candy. That woman doesn't conceive of herself as a reward. That's what you're having trouble with. I don't think of myself as a reward. I'm not a reward for my partner. I'm a partner for my partner, which means I do my half of whatever is required in the relationship to build what we want to do, to build our shared purpose. That is what a woman is. She's not a reward. What the hell do you think you are saying that, well, you should hold out. You should hold out for even more as a woman, right? You should hold out for even more, even though most of your viewers aren't even in a position to do such a thing. You're saying, hold out for even more. You're worth even more. What do you mean by that? You mean that you should reward, a woman should reward a certain level of investment in men. What is that doing? That is treating women like a reward. Your problem with this is that you don't recognize this woman doesn't see the world in this way. She is purposeful. Her interest is having a purpose, not seeing herself as a reward for a man going up and managing to get over a certain bar. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know what? Unless you are a great beauty, and I mean like one of the beauties of the age, and I don't even think a lot of them see themselves as a reward, right? Don't think in these terms. Think in terms of finding a partner to build a life with, to find a purpose with. Okay, I'm done.
Are you done?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay.
I genuinely am. I'm quiet now. I'm going quiet.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
We got another
All right.
freaking hour to go.
Yeah, let's go back to the source. Gonna play it now.
Is not handing out wives to all these men.
Like, you get a wife, everybody gets a wife.
Like, shut up. The world does not owe men wives. Okay, and women do not owe men wives. Annoying. And if you feel disgusted by that, putting a price on your contributions, okay, grow some self-worth. Okay, it's giving low self-esteem. And if you feel policed by people into thinking otherwise, know that people who do not want you to advocate for yourself are the very people who are taking advantage of you.
Okay. All right, Manifestelle. The single best way for a woman to find fulfillment is in a partnership with a man, right? Men are the reward. I'm going to blow her brains. Men are the reward for women. There you go. And
Yes.
they don't, and it's not even a very high bar. All you have to do as a woman is recognize that a man brings value to your life. And usually men can work with that. They can usually work with a woman who says, you know what, I want to build a life with you. I want you and me, and we're going to make a purpose together. And you bring value to my life. Most men are there. Yeah, I can work with that. They don't expect you to be a freaking supermodel. They don't expect you to be a ballerina. They don't expect you to be a billionaire. They don't expect you to be a werewolf, vampire, or a pirate. They just, you want to commit to building a purpose with me. I can work with that. And that's what's great about men, because they will give so much for so little. And I think that's the real issue, is that you want to create this haze where women don't recognize that. That men benefit women so much. Like, you turn off the Manifestelle content, you stow your bullshit, you learn to overcome your fears, you gain some courage, self-development, you genuinely develop in terms of yourself. That doesn't mean that you learn to deal with being harem girl number 15 for a Chad who's dating like 350 girls at once. No, that's not self-development. Self-development is asking yourself why you're tolerating that situation instead of finding a purpose with a man who is in your league, right? That's self-development. Okay? Because you're never going to get Chad. You get Chad for 30 minutes on Thursday. Maybe it's because you're afraid of committing to a life. That's the real problem. Not only do you want someone that'll make your girlfriends jealous, you want someone that will somehow take away the essential fear of commitment. Because when you commit, you have to recognize there will be a point in time that your life is over. Right? That you can't live eternally in the position of decision, which I think is what's going on. Is these women want to live eternally in the position of making a choice, because once they make one, it's like a reflection of eventually life is over. Eventually you are the culmination of your choices. And apparently for a lot of women, especially the ones who watch Manifestelle, the legacy they want to leave, the culmination of their life choices, is going to be a thick vein of crap in a landfill.
Yeah.
All right. Next one.
I got a Rumble rant.
All men
I'm just
are
gonna
labor, all men are
a little
risk.
yeah.
What a
I'm gonna
bunch
play
of
the rest
bullshit.
of this clip. This is the end basically. So NovaFan21 gave us a Rumble rant. Thank you NovaFan, and says Manifestelle is the type of woman to point to happily married women and call them miserable slaves. Well, that's what she's doing in this video. She is basically taking a woman who is posting happy pictures and videos of her with her family getting gifts and running a farm together, and she's like, "Oh, I could tell. She is miserable. She is ready to commit suicide on herself, right? To self-annihilate, whatever it is, like unalive." It's like the Zoomer speak for I'm too afraid to call it what it is. But anyway, let's finish this off. Just a little bit left. And we'll look at the next one, which I can probably just do like a couple. The thesis is the same, really.
Okay, all men are labor. All men are risk. Okay, a man's money doesn't save you from that. Your privilege doesn't save you from that. Your beauty doesn't save you from that, as we talked about in the past class. Okay, now I want to talk about this one sentiment that I kept seeing regarding Ballerina Farm discourse about how Hannah.
What saves you from it, Hannah or Manifestelle?
What?
What saves you from it, Manifestelle? Like your attitude of like your destructive attitude, is that what saves you from it? Like from men being risk and labor? Like women, okay. Anyway, I'm just asking her, what saves women from it?
She does. She's going to tell you. You just have to keep watching her videos.
Okay.
And eventually, you'll get to it. So she's like one of those ads that you get on YouTube that are like, "Do you want to hear the secret to like unlimited wealth or losing weight?" And the video is like 5 minutes long, and they never tell you. They never get to it. They just keep saying this one trick. That's what she's doing. This one weird trick will protect you from the risk and the labor of men. Stick with me and I'll get there. Just contribute to my Patreon and I'll give you the secret. Okay. Anyway, let's play the video.
Did not, in fact, save her from the labor associated with men. Because as we reiterate over and over again in the Spoiled Girls support group, men are labor and men are risk. And people keep saying, like, this annoys me to no end, when people say that, like,
when you marry for money, you're gonna have to earn it every day for the rest of your life.
And I'm like, when you marry for love, aka you marry a broke man, aka you marry a man who doesn't provide for you, aka you marry a man.
Oh, you see, here we go. Yo, there is no escape, Manifestelle. That is life. Like, what the fuck, lady? That is life. Like, life is work. Fundamentally, like, what is a Buddhist principle? A day without work is a day without food. You are fighting with reality.
Yep.
Like, so, but literally, women can't, there's no way to succeed in Manifestelle's manifestation. Because if you marry for money, you're going to work for it for the rest of your life. But if you work, you're going to work for it for the rest of you. Like, you marry a man who doesn't have money, you're going to work for it. Yeah. So create a purpose for yourself. Like, fundamentally, this is what I would say. Do not watch crap like this. Develop your purpose. Develop what you want to serve. Right? It could be God. It could be art. It could be raising German shepherds. It could be having a relationship and raising children. Develop your purpose and stop buying into shit like this. And yes, we are pair bonders, so you are going to be happiest as a woman with a man in a relationship. That's just the fucking case, statistically. And anybody who's making that harder, who's counseling shit that's going to make that harder, which this woman is full of crap and isn't your friend. It doesn't matter. Like, this is there is not difficult. Like, really, ladies, I mean, it's getting more difficult because more men are turning away, but it is not difficult to have a relationship with a man. I mean, I think what really is the problem here is maybe men are too easy, right? And maybe you should get a little bit more difficult to please. Maybe that will give women their purpose. But regardless, it's not that difficult to have a relationship with a man. It's a lot more difficult, actually, women are finding to have relationships with other women. You know, that I just recently watched that, I think it's CK, no. It's what he was the one, oh gosh, I won't give him the name, but he had a bit where he's talking about how he goes into like he sees he watches he watches the life cycle of lesbians, you know, and they're young, when they're 20 and they have their whole life ahead of them, they're really happy, and then he sees them in like when they're 30 and they're 35 and they have the same look on their face as like a married man. You know, they're just sitting in a dive bar, chain smoking, and they're like, where did it all go wrong? You know, lesbians. And then he's saying like gay men they're just so happy. They're just too happy. They just float around, just being happy because they don't have to deal with estrogen. And it's like, it's true. Women really suck at having relationships with each other. You know, and the more that they attempt it, the higher the rates of domestic violence and rape are in that particular age group, like young women who are attempting relationships with other women, skyrocketing rates of domestic violence and rape and misery and suicidal ideation and suicide because of that, right? The happiest you'll be is just get a man. Don't get a pirate, ninja, billionaire, assassin, werewolf, vampire. Just a man. Just a man. And make a purpose with him. It's so simple. And it's not, you don't have to do a hell of a lot of shit. And it's not that hard to stay in a relationship with a man. You know, you periodically poke him, but most of the time you leave him alone. There you go. That's how you deal with men. Like, just mostly leave them alone. They're fine. They're like an air fern. And then you cuddle them occasionally, you know, take them out for a walk. I don't make food because I'm too scatterbrained to deal with anything that involves fire. Anything that involves fire. Like, my husband won't let me. But regardless, you know, you just take care of them. You make them feel loved and cared for, and they do the same for you. It's very simple. It's almost like we're made to do it. You know, you'll get into the groove. It's fairly simple. Anyway, I've gone on a weird tangent, but I'm just like, don't listen to this woman. The simplest way to find happiness is get a man.
Yeah. Also, guys, smash that like button for us. It really helps us reach more people if possible. And to people who are seeing this stream for the first time on the shorts or the vertical stream, hello and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. All right. So I got a Super Chow from Richard Bier. He gives us, I think it's 5. Yeah, 5. And he says, at least Manifestelle isn't working as a waitress at my neighborhood IHOP and definitely not my local Waffle House. No, she's the kind of woman that shows up late and leaves early and doesn't do anything while she's there because she's on her phone the whole time. Like, just like
God provides for all of his children.
No work ethic. Yes, they find a way.
Burr.
That's right.
Neo in the chat. Cosmic Crusher said Bill Burr, and you are right. It is Bill Burr. That was Bill Burr's bit. It was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And it's not just entitlement, because there's Celine in the chat saying she's very entitled. It's just delusion. Like, you don't need to put that much effort in, and you don't need to aim for that. Like, because the thing is that women who are going to get princess treatment like that, they got to get the eye of a Saudi prince. That's not going to be you. Like anybody listening to this and you're a woman, you're not going to get the eye of a Saudi prince. Just forget it. But you can be happy and you can have a purposeful life just by following the ballerina's example. You don't have to be a Mormon and you don't have to not have a career. Just, like men, just want to have one in your life and just enjoy their company. Enjoy their company in such a way that you don't have to constantly pester them for entertainment, and it'll work out. You are made 100%. Men and women are generally made to live together. I know it's very strange, but it's true. They seem strange and fearsome, but really no. Once you get to know them, they're like German shepherds. They're very cuddly. Men are excellent. All right. I'm sorry, I compared men to dogs.
No, it's fine. But there is a strange, I don't know if you guys did you know this? A staggering amount of OnlyFans girls get to fly out to Dubai like every year. Have you ever wondered why that is? Anyway, let's move on. So that's the end of that video, honestly. I don't know if there isn't much else to add. I could play it. Let's play the last bit. It's like basically at the end here. So
as we talked about in our downsides of pretty privilege class, beauty doesn't save you from misogyny. Okay, and it's the same thing here. Like a man's money doesn't save you from the labor and risk that men bring into your life.
Well, what does?
he has to expressly alleviate labor and risk. And
yeah, most men can't afford that. Like you're basically Saudi princess here. I mean, you're basically Saudi prince at this point. Like. No, the vast majority of women are not going to be able to get a man who can alleviate all of their labor. That includes the labor of paying for themselves. Like that's just not going to happen. And yet, again, statistically, women are, in terms of the mental health, far better off in relationships with men who do not alleviate their labor. They still have. That's the funny thing. What is it that she thinks that's making men so laborious? They aren't. Like you still have to do laundry. You still have to cook. You still have to clean. Like these are still chores that have to get done. The men don't add a hell of a lot that much. And if they're helping to pay the bills, that's a significant contribution. I'm not sure where this idea that men are so laborious comes from. They aren't. Like they aren't.
No. Okay. Oh, and also I was wrong. It's not OnlyFans models. It's Instagram models. Actually, a much broader umbrella. But anyway, I got a Super Chow, rather, from Richard Bier again for $5. And he says, isn't there something with harem girls that must be maintained in order to remain the harem or remain in the harem?
Complete chastity to the Lord, the harem master. Yeah,
I would know that. Don't have a harem.
Yeah, but the thing is, that a lot of harem, the harem ended up being a bureaucratic instrument. A lot of those women, they never even had sex with anyone because, like, you have thousands and thousands of wives. What the hell are you going to do? So they would just compete with each other for attention. They never even had sex. They were basically incels, and they competed for the attention of the man. But it was. Wasn't a guarantee that they would get it. And it just ended up being like a bureaucratic instrument. I guess it was a way of getting everybody invested in the status quo by having your daughters in one place. I don't know. Okay, let's shall we?
All right.
I mean, it's sort of like Kim Jong-il, right? He has a harem and they just go into it because they get fed.
Do you want me to play this or?
Fine. Is the next video have anything that much?
It's not really different. It's just like I said, her thesis ultimately is men are labor, men are risk. So that's.
So basically,
he has
to do everything.
You have to earn it for the rest of your life. It's not that men with less money are magically so much more virtuous than men with money, or vice versa. At the end of the day, they're all men. Okay, not all men. Okay, it's not all men, but it's all types of men. Okay, men are labor and men are risk, no matter what. Unless you have found through consistent actions that they have been, that they are, and that they will alleviate the labor and risk that they bring into your life, they do not exist, okay? Whether you decide to be a career woman outside of the home, or be a stay-at-home mom, be a tradwife, or be a hybrid.
It's like,
Okay, that's it. That's the end. There's nothing.
so basically her final statement is you have no agency, ladies. Ugh. Reject. Okay, let's move on to the next.
All right.
Like just reject.
Okay. All right.
And the other thing is, like, where does
Mhm.
what the man adds to the relationship? So the man is always just a net negative. Unless he just basically becomes the Holy Ghost and just provides everything for her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a new standard, huh?
Yep. Let's play the
Unless
intro to this one. Do you want to do, because it's 4:00? We've been going for 2 hours. Do you want to do this other one?
Let's get it done. Just let's not do as much of it.
All right. Okay. Let's do the intro then first.
Changed. Somehow, princess treatment from provider men has become the new status symbol, and some women are using this new status symbol to exclude other women. But instead of using this status symbol to exclude, we need to use it to include as many women as possible in the category of women who are treated well. So that in the end, the rise of princess treatment and provider men as status symbols may spark the rise of women setting higher standards for themselves and for the men that they date and marry. It's aspirational now, but with nuance and discernment, we can use this trend to raise women's awareness to their own high inherent value and worth, so that they may see that provider men, emotionally intelligent men, genuinely kind men are the only ones who should be allowed to access them.
Okay, what was it about her saying that women are not candy?
That men are not entitled to wives, although men are not claiming to be entitled to wives. They're just looking for the opportunity to earn it. In the cases where they are actually trying to earn it.
Okay, she says that women are not candy, and then she appeals to women as a reward for men in this scenario, right? And essentially, okay.
Okay, got a super
and she's
chat.
essentially saying that being a spoiled girly is now a status symbol for men, right? Oh, you have a completely useless woman. You basically have a doorstop. Your wife is a doorstop. My wife is a doorstop. Oh, you must be a big man. Look at you. My wife, basically, I'm manacled to her, and she's basically lives in a comatose state. Look, I'm dragging her along the street. She's just, yeah. She's completely useless to me. She does nothing. She's provides nothing. She just is a gigantic goddamn ball and chain.
Yeah, right,
okay,
literally.
And that's the status symbol. That the men who tolerate that are high status. Bullshit. And
no,
what
we're going
she's
to
saying
call
is
it.
that
We're going to reframe it as emotional intelligence, and
yes,
then
okay.
you can't call it, essentially servitude to women.
Yeah,
and we're going to invert it.
Thing. She's saying that, well, first of all, how many women can get a man who does literally everything, like who is in a position that they have almost no financial, like we're talking about Saudi princes at this point. That's it. These are the men. And she's saying, well, we want to include all women. No, you're not including all women, because the vast majority of men are not have not inherited billions of dollars from oil. Okay, like this is a very rare, and you're getting access to those men. Okay, does not assist any woman who does not get access to them in any way. And your words are actually taking away the value of just having a man as a regular old partner in their life. So what you seem to be doing is you actually are trying to make your value proposition better by worsening the lives of other women. You're not including them. You're making their lives worse. You're telling them, yeah, don't, that thing over there that you could do that's guaranteed to make you twice as happy as you staying single, don't do it. And if you avoid doing it, we'll all benefit because we'll all get more. No, that's not what's going to happen. because there aren't enough men, Saudi princes, to go around. Maybe you have one Manifestelle, but there's not one to go around for every member of your audience. Right? What you're doing is you're actually getting those men to tolerate less. But you know what? Your fetish lifestyle with your Saudi prince is not applicable to any other woman. Okay? And honestly, the fact that that ballerina who probably could have got a Saudi prince chose, I presume, a regular Mormon man instead, probably really sticks in her craw. Right? Because she had access to that life that she says, that Manifestelle says, if you help me, all my sisters, if you give me the golden slipper so I can get my Saudi prince, you will all benefit. So all give me your attention and your time and ruin your own lives for me. And this woman is like, I don't want a Saudi prince. I just want a dude. I want to live a life with a regular man. Do you see? Like, maybe I'm it's too rarefied, or it's too confusing, or maybe I'll figure out how to explain it simply in a bit. Okay, I'm done. I know that was an awkward transition.
No, that's all right. We got a super chat, first time super chatter from Celine.
Thank you. Come again.
And she gives us $4.99. I'm gonna assume it's a she. If I'm wrong, I apologize. At least the prostitutes of old understood in order to get paid, they would need to perform their labor services. He's not going to pay to stare. Thank you for that. And yes, it's true. All right.
Well, the prostitutes of old often realized that what a man wanted was a woman he could talk to. You know?
That's true too. It may not, like but even then, like Manifestelle would argue that that's still labor, though.
Yeah, emotional labor. But that's the thing. Like I don't know what the hell. What life is she auditioning for?
Oh, what was that?
What life is she auditioning for? Okay, let's keep don't listen to this woman. She'll make you unhappy.
So anyway, that's kind of like the thesis of the video. So if we don't get like into everything, that's why. But let's listen to more.
Anyway, we have a lot to cover, but before we get into it, I need you to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you never miss a spoiled girly episode. With that,
like and subscribe to our channel.
Yeah. Okay, princess treatment.
Apparently the new status symbol. Purchase
in your world.
Longer the most highest aspirational marker of high status. It is now getting a man to get you those things. The luxury items, the luxury experiences, and the progression kind of makes sense. Women, especially young women, are now increasingly outperforming men in higher education and keeping up with men's entry-level salaries. Listen to this. In Kim Parker's article, What's Behind the Growing Gap Between Men and Women in College Completion, Parker writes, the growing gender gap in higher education, both in enrollment and graduation rates, has been a topic of conversation and debate in recent months. Young women are more likely to be enrolled in college today than young men. And among those ages, 25 and older, women are more likely than men to have a 4-year college degree. The gap.
All right, so we don't need we've covered this a lot as an issue that men face.
Yeah.
So how does that relate to women expecting more princess treatment? The fact that men are struggling to get college degrees, or alternatively recognize that college degrees
the better women do
projects.
Well, ultimately what she's saying is that the better that women do in education, which I would argue is just giving them debt, but that's a digression. The better women do, the higher of a standard they have for men. So essentially, equality has only raised women's standards, and men are underperforming because education is openly hostile towards men, so they don't do as well. And a lot of them are not even bothering because they're realizing that college is a scam, and so they're not bothering with it. But in the eyes of feminists and people like Manifestelle and maybe women broadly, having a good education is a measure of your worth, even if education itself is garbage, which it is now. So, and here's another thing too. I was talking to Lindsay about this because I think actually this is related. So women's hypergamy is creating a problem for women because the pool of men that they find desirable is really, really small because of how high their standards are. And what's worst about this is that universities, the media, the government, etc., they feed into this by essentially prioritizing women over men in terms of their education and their preparation to enter the workforce. So women they get a leg up in education, they get a leg up in grants and scholarships and loans, they get a leg up in finding a job because they're women. It's easier for them to find a job. They may get better pay because companies are being told that there's this wage gap and they need to close it. So they're going to offer women more money. And so women are getting a job easier. They're getting promotions quicker. They're getting more support from human resources. They're making more money. And then they're like looking at their situation and they don't realize how privileged they are. And so they're looking around for a man, but they don't want a man that makes like the same or less than what they're making. So they're the pool of men that they think are good enough is really small. And generally they want men that are doing way better than they are, which is even smaller, right? Like somebody in the chat said that, like, you know, if this goes too far, any man that's below a 10 is going to be an incel. That's happening. Like that's what's going on right now. Like men who are average or even above average, they're incels because women are just, they can't even see them. They're not people. And a lot of it is because of this artificial propping up, because it is artificial, because a lot of these women are not as qualified as they think they are, not as smart as they think they are, not as educated as they think they are, and they don't deserve a lot of the jobs they're getting. So, and again, this isn't me just shitting on women. I'm pointing out that they're in a delusional place where everyone's telling them, they're gassing them up about like what they're worth, but they're not worth that much, and they're still convinced that not only are they worth what they're getting, but that they're still oppressed by a system, so they should be worth more, and that men have to measure up, and they're not somehow. And yet, even though those men are not measuring up to their standards, they still believe that they're oppressed by those men. So.
Yeah, it's and when is the discussion that all this women's success should go to men in terms of their benefit? You know, like when is that going to happen? That men deserve a break, you know, to stay at home and take care of the kids and get egg aprons.
Yeah. So
you know,
Celine
when's
says,
the soft guy era going to start?
Well, it's kind of just a troll thing right now. But Celine says you can make big money in the trades. There are people making six figures with just a college 2-year degree. Yeah, but the thing is, the trades are kind of low status and icky, and they give women like this the ick. So they're not gonna. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter how well men do, because there's always going to be a woman going, well, I'm pretty sure I can do better than this. And so because of that, you get all these guys that are probably more than adequate are just going to get passed over. And women are entering the trades too. They're just like, again, they're getting this, oh, you're totally qualified treatment, even though they may not be. And we'll find out when more bridges start falling and planes start falling from the sky. But anyway, so yeah, do you want to do more of this? I jumped ahead.
Sure.
This is, yeah, I mean, like, this is all like, oh, they're doing better in education. And let me see, I think this is like an ad or something. So I'm jumping ahead past this. This is her promotion. Okay, so we'll just go right here.
Husbands that served as stand-ins for the husbands that women would have ended up marrying if such husbands existed. And they modeled these synthetic husbands from the socio-demographic profiles of men comparable with the husbands of demographically similar women who are currently married. And via hot deck imputation and an additional sensitivity test, the researchers arrived at these findings. Lichter et al. Writes, the didactic exercise shows that unmarried women face overall shortages of economically attractive partners with either a bachelor's degree or incomes of more than $40,000 a year. Most previous work suggests that women are more likely to remain unmarried than to settle by marrying partners who are mismatched in age, education, or race. Very interesting. Let's keep reading. A recent study by Kian, 2017, however, indicated that patterns of assortative mating have shifted, switching from a tendency in 1980 for women to marry up in socioeconomic status to a pattern today of marrying down. This reversal suggests, at a minimum, that growth in the pool of marriageable men has not kept pace with the rapid rise in women's socioeconomic status.
It literally can't. Like, it
Yeah,
literally
rigged.
can't. If you take money from men Let's just bring it down to brass tacks. If you take money from men to give to women, the men are going to have less money. Okay, so if you take these jobs from men to give it to women, and they statistically, the gain in women's salaries has come at the loss in men's. So men have lost total salary, and women have gained, and they're starting to meet in the middle. So men and women will have equivalent salaries. That is going to reduce the pool of marriageable men inevitably, even if it wasn't a situation where we're artificially boosting women. The pool of marriageable men is going to decrease simply because men's overall income is declining in order to bring women's overall income up to them. We all decided that this was the aim that we were all going to aim for, right? Equality, parity between men and women. As long as women want men who earn more, right, than they do, and men already earn more, slightly more than women, so they want men who earn even more than that. As long as women want that, increasing their salaries and decreasing male salaries to fix the so-called wage gap will reduce the pool of marriageable men. You got to decide what you want. Do you want a large pool of marriageable men like you would have had in the 50s? Almost every woman could have found a man who could support her, or most of them, at least upper middle class or middle class and above. But, we decided that we didn't like that. We wanted to make it so that men and women earn the same. But as long as women only want men who earn more than them, that means that you're having the marriage pool. The marriage pool is now 1/4 of what it was, right? That by definition, that's not men's fault, because men are doing what you asked. You said women need to earn as much as men. And then they're like, okay, well, let's put all these bursaries in place, these scholarships, let's preferential hiring, preferential like getting women into these lucrative careers. Let's do this, let's fix this, and they did. And now now you don't have marriageable men. And so it's not men's problem. You said you had a problem with it. They did what they could to fix it. That's not, insofar as you can speak to men as a group, men solved the issue of the wage gap, or attempted to, by increasing women's wages and decreasing men's. And now there are no marriageable men, apparently. Okay, let's keep going.
All right. Playing some more.
Read that again. The growth in the pool of marriageable men has not kept pace with the rapid rise in women's socioeconomic status. I mean, we already talked about it here. Women are more likely to date and marry down, and men are more likely...
Somewhat more. No, they're... What? What are you... So now we're complaining about those men who marry women who earn more than them. I guess that's a problem too. Good Lord. Like I said, the only situation that Manifestelle will tolerate is marriage to the Holy Ghost, who happens to also be a replicator from Star Trek. You can just make everything, manifest everything, make everything. It has no imposition on her whatsoever.
Are you saying that it's not in the back? That's Manifestelle's whole bit, like modern women that are part of the urban monoculture, that they're all just like, if it isn't in the back, I'm going to make a TikTok about it. And that's going to be the extent of my contribution to like fixing the absolute state of society. So, all right, let us see if we can get through a little bit more of this.
Men are more likely to date out of their league. And I'm not the one saying this, okay? The men are the ones saying this. So watch that class if you want to hear it from the horse's mouth. The authors go on to write...
Wait a second. When women date up, are they dating out of their league? Of course not.
No, there's no such thing. They're getting that bag while also securing their own bag. That is dating up. And I think that men probably think that most women are out of their league, considering the way that we treat men and women in our culture. Why wouldn't a man think that every woman is like way above them? Have you ever heard that song? She's so high above me. She's so lovely.
Lovely is debatable.
No, but I mean that's I think that's
That song.
it's been normalized for I think a lot of men to believe that most women are much more out of their league than they actually are. This I think it's been going on since at least the 90s. I think that's when that song came out. It was basically, well, if you look at music from the 90s that men sang about women, almost all of it was like, I'm so sorry, I'm a piece of shit. Please notice me. I'm serious.
I know.
So, yeah, I mean, like, I like the songs from the 90s, but there's a lot of, it's where the simpery started. And then after that, you got into the shit where it's like men were singing about wanting to kill themselves. That's how you got Linkin Park and shit, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, don't disagree.
Papa Roach.
Okay.
Turn my life into pieces. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Let's play some more.
Levels now exceed men's further implies that young women by necessity are less financially dependent on husbands than in the past, and that educational hypogamy has become more commonplace. Young women seemingly face shortages of demographically similar men to marry. So we're not even talking about hypergamy here, okay? We're talking isogamy, literally lateral movement. And that too has become increasingly difficult because apparently the men are not catching up to women. Long story short.
All right, but for the record though, here's the thing that she misses, and she's not going to mention this, okay? She's saying that women are dating down in terms of educational level. So they might be dating men who are lower, like they have fewer degrees or they're not as educated as the women. She thinks that means that women are lowering their standards, but what it probably really is that those women are in a lot of debt. They're not going to be able to pay it off. And they want a guy who makes some money to help them pay it off, because that's what a lot of this boils down to. And just like somebody in the chat said, guys with lower education can still make good money. And guys are generally more willing to work to support a family than women are. So they're going to do whatever it takes. I know guys personally, or I used to, when I worked in the paint shop, there were older men that had like a wife and kids. And even though the job was hard and stressful and laborious and exhausting, they were so happy to be there because they were allowed to support their family on that money. And it didn't pay that good. I mean, it was okay, but it was like you're working in retail, you're making paint, you know. But there was a guy, he was there on time every day. He did all of his work. He was like the best worker at the store. And I know it was because he had a daughter and a wife that he was taking care of. In particular, his daughter, though. Do it for her. Remember that from The Simpsons? So I don't know. This doesn't get much better. I mean, if you want, we can keep going. But there's already 3. Do you want me to just? Do you want me to play the rest of it? What?
No, I don't really want to play the rest of this. Okay, what's her conclusion, basically?
All right. I'll go to this bit right here.
Sometimes you need to have bad examples around you so you know how to navigate in the good. Oh, I felt my help coming. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you need bad examples around you so you know how to navigate in the good. I'm not attracting that. I'm working actively to never be that. So I got to see you move wrong so I can move right. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So, of course.
Okay, just so you know, this is not a man with a woman. I want to make that clear. He's not speaking in defense of men.
Okay.
She's using him to make her point. Okay.
What's her point? Because he's already repeated himself.
I'm gonna let me see. I think she just lets the whole video play and then she responds. But here we go. I'll play it from here.
What am I doing to attract that? Being amazing? Being high.
As a spoiled girly living in her light and sharing her light with others, you attract anyone and everyone. And I know that sometimes it feels like you don't have any power to get rid of these people in your life, but I'm telling you right now that you do, okay? Saying that we accept the love we think we deserve is not victim blaming. It's pattern recognition. And the better you get at pattern recognition, and also, you deserve.
Wait, what? Okay, is there a context that we're missing to this?
I'm trying to remember.
I mean, I know that this stuff is like basically trying to strain overcooked noodles to find
Yeah.
something that makes any of this to tie together. I mean, all right, okay. So we have a society that decided that a priority was to bring men and women's incomes together, like to make it so the men and women earn the same, right? And now we're saying it's men's fault that they're not achieving more than women. And yet, if they did achieve more than women, it would be due to patriarchal oppression of women. Like, this is a no-win scenario. Like, it's awful.
Yep. Yeah, it is. And by the way, as an aside, I just want to. What were you going to say? What were you going to say?
No. Finish.
So there's this Medium article, and I think it's hilarious. I'm going to share it with you right now, and I'm going to put it on the screen. Let me turn off because there's no sound in this. So put it on the screen. 45% of women estimated to be single and childless by 2030. Recent data predicts that 45% of women between the ages of 25 and 44 will be single and childless by the time 2030 rolls around. The number of single women in the U.S. is expected to rise by 1.2% every year.
And vote Democrat. So that's the largest rise in Democrat voters right there.
Now, why am I pointing this out? I'm pointing this out because now they're calling it a problem. Women are feeling lonely. Now we have to do something about it.
Yeah, apparently women are more lonely or deal with more chronic loneliness than men now. And which is really interesting because when she says when you're living in your spoiled girly light, you'll be attracting all kinds of people. How do you get rid of them? I think that she's creating this illusion of abundance as another thing that she's selling her audience. Because if we look at it just totally from a sales pitch perspective, probably the Manifestelle audience is very, very lonely women who are basically going to die alone, and not like the die alone that everybody does, but the die alone and not known about it for 2 weeks kind of die alone. And likely this affectation that they actually have an abundance of attention and people who want to do stuff with them is something that's going to attract them because they are lonely. So she's feeding on that desire for company, the desire, and in specific, probably a parasocial relationship with her, but the perception that that they have something that they're not. They don't. It's just like the worst kind of pickup artists and red pill bros who generate this idea of abundance of pussy or women's attention. Do my method and you'll get all this. Or just be in my parasocial relationship with me and you can sort of feed off of it. It's a little like, I think, Andrew Tate's appeal as well. But it's like, I think that's why she's saying it. She's saying that if you follow her procedure, you will have an abundance of attention. And oh, you're on mine. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I thought I was on mine, but go ahead.
Just be careful about the PMs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want. It's just privacy issues for other people. But,
no, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, something is broken in our culture. Why is this happening? Because women still want to marry up financially, and we've made it a cultural goal to remove the gap between men and women. What do you think? But even worse, like, women are not encouraged to develop the skills even to be able to have friendships, and with other women, because it's not necessarily easy to have friendships with other women. Certainly it's not easy to have friendships with other women who aren't themselves also trying to, be decent friends, which is, again, it's holding yourself to a standard, your actions to a standard, which of course, as we've seen through multiple installments of Manifestelle, she thinks that's misogyny. You know, she wants women to not ever be held to a standard, not ever be viewed in terms of the consequences of their actions, but always be viewed as having inherent worth, like candy.
Yep.
Yep.
So no, it's okay. I don't think there's anything left to talk about. Manifestelle made her thesis clear in the beginning. Ultimately, what she is saying is that women who find success need to use that success to make other women successful. So she's kind of like asking for less competition, but I think it's really subjective. Like, it depends on, well, how successful is she doing at the moment? Because women are going to compete, and Manifestelle is essentially a manifestation of that. So there's not much else to get out of this. So I thought we would end on something positive. I don't know. Do you want to end, or Allison, or do you want me to do more? I can't hear you. You did something to your audio. I can't hear you. Allison, I can't hear you. You did something. I can't hear you. Let me see. It doesn't show that you're muted here, but it does show your internet is starting to get bad. Video packet loss. Indicator of video preview. Green is good. Red is bad. Flame implies CPU is overloaded. Well, hopefully we don't get that. But yeah, it's kind of greenish yellow right now. We're losing packets. We're losing sauce packets of your internets. So, all right. So anyway, I'm waiting. Allison, how's your audio? What's going on there? Maybe while we're waiting, I'll play you guys this clip and see. So I want to end it on this. This is like how Manifestelle views the ballerina, Mormon ballerina lady, how she was approached and how she fell into his thrall. So this is the clip I was talking about, the Tom and Jerry one, but it has a hood commentary, which basically makes it gold. Are you there? I thought I heard you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Good. Go. Let's play the
All right.
clip, and I'll give my final thoughts on Manifestelle.
All right. Check this out. It's short. It's funny. Let's do this.
Hey, look who this nigga Tom is, though. This nigga game is so cold. Look, boom, bam, throw the little small boot on the counter. Boom, pop the hat. What's up? Me gonna smoke this seed. Bop, roll it in one hand. Flip it, leave it open. Let the mouse lick it. Come here, bitch. Yeah. And boom, throw it in the air. Pop it with the fire. Bow! Yeah. One pull, nigga. That motherfucker gone. I'm done with it. What's that? Howdy, bitch.
That's it. That's probably Manifestelle's visual of how
it went down. How it went down. Now you're gonna make all my babies. Here's an egg apron, bitch.
Oh man. Okay, well, here's the issue. All right, as a society, we've decided that women not making as much of men had to be fixed. We fixed it. Now women want men who make more than them almost inevitably. And Manifestelle is saying men need to work harder, which if they do, will create another huge gap that society will say, well, this is obviously our society is unfairly advantaging women. So we need to destroy this in whatever way we can. So no matter what, if men attempt to attain Manifestelle's standard and women's standard in general of earning more, we will go back and try to stop that from happening. So it's like this, we are in a never-ending destructive cycle, a fight with our very nature, which, doesn't usually last long in terms of, it's not a very functional way to be when you're talking about civilization. But anyway, that's what I have to say about that. I don't know if she had any other point. There seemed to be a huge middle there, but there was nothing much going on.
I mean, ultimately, I think what she is getting at is that when women are pursuing status, they should, number one, have a really high standard, even if the pool is, not that deep, because there was like a starting off with this presupposition that, men are doing worse and they're not measuring up and they're not competing. They're not keeping up. Although men don't want to compete with women. But that also, if you do get that, you have to use that status to lift up other women, right? And and to do that, you have to like be discerning, like with who is going to be good for you to do that, because they also have to be. I don't know. It's all status games basically, and it's bullshit. It's materialistic. It's shallow. It's hollow. Yeah, so that's basically it. I don't know. It wasn't good. I think that the thesis in both of these though is men are labor and men are risk. So
yeah, well, what do they think women are? And it does come down to that. Yes, getting in a relationship with anyone is risk. But I hate to tell you, but relationships with women tend to be even more risk in terms of domestic violence and other negative things than men. All right. Men are sort of biologically wired to deal with women. No offense. But yeah, so it's
I think that's why men develop stoicism. I think that was Marcus Aurelius was like, we got to do something about this. I'm gonna. How do we deal? Well, we just have to endure. I don't know.
But ultimately, like, any relationship is risk. And if you cannot see yourself in terms of your actions, then any risk is going to be terrifying. Because in order to manage risk, you have to look at the situation and say, I can take action to mediate the risk, right? And if you haven't developed that, then you aren't going to be able to manage a relationship. I mean, I can't even imagine her in a relationship with the only man who could possibly measure up to all of her qualifications, which is a Saudi prince. You realize once you get flew out to Dubai, you're totally like, you're at his mercy. That's, I mean, if you have a man who can actually live up to all of spoilt girly, like Manifestelle's spoilt girly demands, you are completely at his mercy. Like even more than egg apron ballerina Tradwife. Like at the very least, she has the ability to work gathering eggs. What do you do when you're a spoiled girly? You are a complete and utter deficit. You have nothing to fall back on. Nothing. No skills whatsoever. So how she can say, oh, men are a risk, and then just go into a situation where she's basically maximized that risk and is counseling every other woman to do so. Obviously, she doesn't think they're that much of a risk, if that's what she intends. And men
Obviously
are labor.
not.
Yeah, says the woman who says that she should do nothing, including not even be in a relationship with a man. Like literally, if you think that every aspect of being in a relationship with a man is emotional labor, like then there, and you obviously don't enforce, like you don't cause any emotional labor on him in the relationship, then you're not in a relationship. What you're looking for is, like I said, if not the Saudi prince, then you're looking forward to being in a relationship with the Holy Ghost and the Star Trek replicator. Just give you everything, do everything for you, manifest everything for you, and not exist as an individual person in your life at all. Okay, well, that is a level of attainment that is 100% impossible. And we can see if women aim for crap like that, why the numbers of single women is increasing exponentially, why men are simply saying, yeah, no, you're not worth it, and why women now suffer the greatest rates of chronic loneliness, right? I've heard so much about the loneliness crisis among men, right? And I've also heard so many women saying, well, they deserve it. Go kill yourselves, whatever. You aren't able to measure up. So you don't. And yet Here's the problem, ladies. A man without a woman is also a woman without a man. And apparently you guys are suffering a greater rate of chronic loneliness. So you might want to consider the whole rhetoric around, oh, lonely men, just unalive yourselves. That solves the problem. And I've seen that. It's horrible. Okay. That was really funny.
Yeah.
I like that. Can we see
You want to watch
Tom?
it again?
Yeah, let's watch it again. Because this sort of captures like some of the best parts of
All right, we're gonna go back. I like the Hood voiceover. I've seen this cartoon countless times because I grew up on Tom and Jerry. But okay, let's do it again.
Hey, look how cool this nigga Tom is, though. This nigga game is so cold. Look, boom, bam, throw the little small boot on the counter. Boom, pop the hat. What's up? Me gonna smoke this seed. Bop, roll it in one hand. Flip it, leave it open. Let the mouse lick it. Come here, bitch. And boom, throw it in the air. Pop it with the fire. Bow! Yeah. One pull, nigga. That motherfucker gone. I'm done with it. What's that? Howdy, bitch.
Howdy, bitch. One pull, nigga. I'm done with it.
Oh, did he succeed in the end?
No, of course not. That's the Tom and Jerry. That's the beginning. Well, no, that wasn't a hard R. And I could say it, and he could say it too. The voice was obviously a brother, so that was okay.
Yeah.
No, it's on YouTube. That's where I got this.
No, it's fine. I'm just
okay.
teasing. Okay. All right. So we are doing let's do the things because I think it's good to just end there with the howdy.
Yeah. Let's just leave it with the howdy. Yeah.
If Tom would not have to do that much effort because female cats they make their desires known, shall we say?
Yeah.
But anyway, he wouldn't have to make that much effort.
You just have to know how to roll a cigarette in one hand, like with your just two fingers. Get you a mouse and get him to lick it for you, and then throw it up in the air and shoot it with a gun and catch it, and then do one pull, and that's it. You're done. Blow out some words. Forget about it. Anyway.
Okay. All right. So. Once again, we are doing our monthly fundraiser. It's at feedthebadger.com/support. If you'd like to make sure we can continue to do this content, please do go there and put in some support. Every bit helps very much. So don't think that, like $5, $10 isn't, it's all the $5, $10 that got us to the end. So every bit counts. I know people support as much as they are able, and it really is the, just opening your heart to supporting this. That really counts. So feedthebadger.com/support. If you have any questions or comments after the show is over, you can send them to feedthebadger.com/justthetip. That's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. You get the benefit of sending your comment through YouTube's comment enhancement system, and we get the full benefit of whatever funds you send. So that's a great way to send us messages. And if you would like any additional content, including soon I'm going to be rolling out a new series of patron-only content where we analyze media using, my particular type of story analysis. And if you're interested in that, you can get a subscription at feedthebadger.com/subscribe. So once again, feedthebadger.com/support, support the show for the month. Feedthebadger.com/justthetip to send us a message, and feedthebadger.com/subscribe to get access to more of our stuff, more of our work, more of our projects, and also the resources. So all of the stuff that we base our analysis on, all of the statistics and the studies and all that kind of stuff, research. Yeah. And if you just want to hang out in our community, feed the badgernation.online. So those are all the things. I know that's a lot of stuff. So I'll just leave it at that and hand it over to you, Brian.
All right. Well, before I end the show here, do we have any thank yous to give for the fundraiser? Because I can't look at them. I don't know if that's Allison. Your audio cut out again. Allison, I can't hear you if you're talking. Your audio cut out. It kind of came back and then it disappeared again.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I just have to switch between the various audio inputs. Not sure what's going on. It might, again, I probably will just, oh, okay, yep. So we do have to thank Richard Bier, put in $1,000 for.
Wow, I don't even know if I have a sound that's worthy of that. I guess he's just
How
better
about
than us.
we're not
better than
worthy?
you? I guess I'm going a little further than you are. Yeah, I'm fucking better than you. Okay, much better than you. You are garbage.
Do you want the
Here
other
we go.
one? Okay.
Here we go. Here's the instant sound effects. I don't know if you guys can hear this.
You're talking about the Wayne's World.
Wayne's
We're not
World,
worthy.
yeah.
I
We're
have
not
that.
worthy.
I got that one somewhere. Just gotta find it. Yeah, I do have that. I just gotta find it. I don't know where it is. So
I got it right here. It's on a button, but I don't know if you can actually hear this.
play it.
Yeah, okay, but
I will look in the meantime.
look at my freaking.
I hear it, yeah, but
Language.
it's not very. Oops, sorry, that was wrong. I do have it. I just don't know where it is. I have a lot of folders.
Okay, well, I
and a
could
lot of
send
different
it to you
stuff.
right now. Let's see if we
No,
can.
no, I have it. If you send it to me, it's not really going to help. But it doesn't matter. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Richard Bier. I got
Thank
one
you.
more you might like. So let's just try this one.
Clean up your room.
Okay. So that was or the
Women were still viewed as chattel.
there. I gave you 3. Okay. Don't. That's it. Don't
And we also did more
get
Manifestelle.
off my
which
butt
is-
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Okay,
did
so
do
thank
more
you.
Manifestelle.
So basically, what happened was Richard sponsored the topic of the show. He's particularly fond of Manifestelle. I think it's because I hate it. I hate her. It's a sadism hour with the Badger patrons. Okay, all right. So thanks again, and yeah, take it out, Brian.
I think we call them spinsters. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. If you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today. If you want to watch the full videos in their context in the description, both Manifestelle's videos are in the description of this video. You have to look the Tom one up yourself, but just look up Tom and Jerry Hood voiceover if you want to watch it. And please, please, please share this video because sharing is caring. Thank you so much for coming on today's episode of Maintaining Frame, and we will talk to you all in the next video.
Are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.